Starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
The Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV begins right now. And I'm Jeff. There is Ira. There is Corey. They're doing well. Say hello, boys.
What up?
Got Corey in person. I want to hug him.
I'm in studio. Ira's in the shadows. He's playing in the shadows right now. Looks good.
I like it. I like it. We'll adjust. We'll adjust during halftime here.
Some mood lighting.
But I like it. And let's begin with Register Sausage and our friends already on the chat talking about Register Sausage. Stephen right here, right now. He's like, hey, man, I had some Register Sausage this morning. Yay, sausage.
That's the beauty of our relationship with registers is I've got a buddy of mine texted me a photo of his jambalaya he had made at home. I think it might have been the box jambalaya. He called it the Ira.
The Ira.
Which really it's the Kim. Kim is the first one that brought this to my attention. But yeah, man, he made the instant jambalaya, threw in some Register sausage, and it's golden. It's you can't go wrong. And if you want Register sausage in your life, you can either go to your local grocery store if you're in this region of the country. If you're not in this region of the country,
move here.
No.
Oh, you're done with people moving?
Yeah,
That's
we're
fair.
just good
That's
with
fair.
it.
We're good.
But you can go online. Registermeats.com is the website. You can order it. They'll deliver it to you. And I'm telling you, if you've never had it, Register Meats deliver your sausage to you. Try it out. It comes fresh. It comes in a cooler with ice. It's like it's like going to the store. It's perfect. It's I was gonna say it's like getting it from the farm. Farm
Yeah,
fresh.
the farm sausage.
But I don't know if you
I
go
don't
to
think
the
you want
farm.
to get it from the farm. I don't
yeah.
think you,
Fresh off the farm?
Yeah, I think you want to wait.
Yeah. Let the pros do their business.
Do what they got to do to it before they ship it off.
When Kim and I first started dating, we went to her papa's house out in the country.
Oh,
I knew
boy.
by Papa that he
Wait,
was in the
it was not Manhattan.
his
No.
condo in Brooklyn.
We went to her Papa's house. We could just stop. We all knew it was not in Chicago.
They were making some chitlins.
Was it good?
Oh, well, I would
I bet
never
it was-
know.
Ira's not eating
But-
that,
You're not
man.
But
Oh, I
seeing
would.
that process was enough to tell.
Oh, the process. Yeah.
Somehow we stayed together. Somehow we went
There
on
you go.
more dates.
Yeah.
But
Worked
that
out.
was a for a kid from Miami. That was a new experience.
So how's everybody doing? We're all in a good mood, man. I mean, since we last spoke, there was another addition. I mean, always additions for Florida State that are really positive. They got a new secondary coach, which you guys know I'm excited about. I actually love who they hired. I think it's a great
Have they
hire.
announced him officially yet?
No.
Have they announced Certain? That probably is coming today. It might be coming in the next 20, 30 minutes.
It could be.
What the hell
There's,
are they waiting on?
well, there's two parts. Obviously, he was finishing up with the Dolphins, but because of that, I think they hadn't done some of the background paperwork stuff that has to be done before they announce a hire
Got it.
because he was busy. So I think it could be today, could be tomorrow.
But we know he's hired. We
He's
know- yeah,
coming to
yeah.
Florida State.
Doesn't that seem like a hire that checks every single box? I mean,
Yeah.
we don't know how he's going to end up being, but
Right.
it checks every single box.
You know, it's funny, Corey, that you bring that up because I do that thing. I'll do the exercise where I'll say, like, okay, let's
Weighing some sand?
yeah, weigh
Yeah.
in the sand
Weigh
on
in the sand, yeah.
on the scales.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was, and I kept thinking to myself, well, man, every box is checked. This is perfect. I like it for recruiting. I like it for instruction. I like it reputationally. I like every aspect of the hire. I think it's great. I'm probably a little biased too because, man, I loved him at Southern Miss. We're old enough. We watched him. We all watched him play. He was a beast.
I'll admit I didn't watch him play at Southern Miss.
I didn't
Oh.
either. I don't remember him at Southern
Oh
Miss.
my God, he was a superstar. I was in tune with secondary players. Loved watching guys in the secondary that flew
Even
around.
Southern Miss guys in the late
but-
90s.
Well, he was an All-American. He was like,
That was when they were pretty good, right?
they were really good, and he was really good. He was talked
all
about incessantly, not unlike his son. He was immensely talented, and he was great in the league. You remember him in the league?
Yeah, I do.
for sure.
Okay, so yeah, he was a great player, and so
Could
I
have hired him maybe 4 years ago. Then you get his son, probably, right?
I don't know, man. As bad as we were,
Yeah, I
maybe
was gonna say maybe he's not. Maybe
Yeah.
even he's telling his kid like, I don't know, man. Go to Alabama. You'll be all right.
wait till they get it figured out, son.
Yeah, they were in it. I mean, his son did consider Florida State, and then he wisely did not consider Florida State. Unfortunately, I don't think he's got another one coming up in the class of 2024,
Damn it.
2025. So,
Yeah.
so that stinks. But yeah, man, it
You're
seems
gonna walk
like it would
into
be a great
American
hire.
Heritage and be like, kids, let's go. I got you.
So I did look around, like I did some research because I didn't even realize he had coached an American Heritage and
Won a state title.
successfully won 3 of them.
Yeah.
And then I started looking around because it's 2023. The portal isn't going away. And I'm like, I wonder how many American Heritage guys the last few years were really good players that went to other places. And there's a lot of them. There's
Nice.
a lot of tentacles, American Heritage tentacles all across this country. of good players, highly ranked defensive backs.
Right.
So just saying, maybe something happens after spring practice. Maybe something happens next year. But there's a lot of American Heritage guys out there.
So the point is, the three of us, along with what I think is an overwhelming majority of Florida State fans, are really excited about him and about that hire. And then I think in addition, we had another addition. We continue to raid South Carolina. They're about tired of us. They declare war on Florida State. I mean, after a while, they're going to be like, again, another day. Any more of our guys?
Yeah. What do we even have? What does Florida State even have against South Carolina? It's not like it's a long storied rivalry. I mean, they lost to South Carolina in like 85. They lost up there. Maybe
it was a long
40 years ago. They're going back and like they're still trying to get after for that
revenge.
Yeah.
And they've subsequently exacted revenge numerous times on the field.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
I also think so much of the transfer portal is about relationships, not just the coaches' relationships with players, but players and players. They're recruiting each other. This is like what we saw, we've seen kind of in pro sports to some degree, but I think it also happens at the college level. I've thought about it when I was writing about Jasmine Turnitine, just wrote a story about him that people can read at warchant.com, but his two of the guys they just brought in are former teammates of his and Jamie Robinson's at South Carolina. So you got to think that what Jasmine Turnitine and Jamie Robinson and Keir Thomas said about Florida State resonated with Jaheim Bell and Edmond.
Yeah.
Edmond, there you go.
The defensive end from
the one that we just added.
Yes.
Who, by the way, I know was a 3-star coming out, but is well thought of physically and believed to be a nice addition, an impactful addition.
Yeah, he's not Jared Verse. He's not Jermaine Johnson. Nobody's expecting him to be, but he's better. And we love you, Leonard. He's better than Leonard Warner. Like you made an upgrade there just in depth purposes with a guy that is, he had 9 tackles for loss in the SEC, a couple sacks.
I looked at his bio, like when the FSU put out his official release. I think he ran the 110 hurdles in high school.
Yeah, he's an athlete, man.
Oh, all right.
Defensive end. Yeah, I think he was nowhere near 250
hurdles are hard
coming out of high
too,
school.
man. They tried to get me to run hurdles. I did it one time in practice. I was like, no, man, no, I'm not doing hurdles.
It's a different life.
No, I was. And by the way, I hated running the 400, but I chose that over hurdles. Hurdles, ruthless.
I think like hurdles are dangerous too. Like you could take a wrong turn and you're getting smoked in the face by a big piece of wood.
I still go back every now and again when it's Olympic time and watch like Edwin Moses just whooping ass.
Or what's his name? Trey Cunningham.
Trey
Cunningham.
I'd rather watch Edwin Moses, but I'm just saying. Yeah, it's
Trey Cunningham's a badass.
Nobody's denying badassedness, but if we're talking about all-time hurdlers, he's not in the company of Edwin Moses.
Not yet.
No.
Give him time. Come on, Trey.
I hope it's great.
Yeah.
Love to have a Nole win a bunch of golds like that. It'd be great. I'm just saying.
Or Moses McCray.
Go tell it to Moses McCray, baby.
Any of the Moseses.
No, so the point of me introducing that is not only let's catch up, but every edition of Seminole Headlines involves more additions to Florida State's roster and or coaching staff. That is a plus. I can't really recall too many times in which an offseason began. And, well, I mean, in essence, what is an offseason now beginning? It goes on for seemingly ever these days, but where everything that happens, you're like, okay, another good day at the office, everybody. Another great day for Florida State.
And how much of it relates to each other? Like how much of it becomes inertia? If Florida State doesn't have that season, Patrick Surtain's probably not all that interested.
Yeah.
Oh, without question. Yes. He's not taking your phone call. And better yet, the larger conversation is that Florida State, it is rumored, could have hired a number of candidates, all of whom in many ways were interesting, were people that you would want to hire that are viable candidates. And we've talked a lot about this, but it bears repeating. 10-3 not only made you feel good because winning 10 games is always nice and seems to be the standard that you have to hit each year for it to be a successful season, but it opened the doors. Mike Norvell is now negotiating from a place of strength when it comes to if he wants to make staff changes, when they're recruiting kids in the transfer portal. Any of these decisions,
turning kids away in the portal that aren't good enough or they don't maybe fit what you need.
It's a cool place to be, and it's really your just dessert, right? Because now Norvell took the program and it was in shambles and had to endure an awful lot and made some mistakes along the way, but stayed the course. They have this season, and now the doors open up. Now I can get an elite coach that a lot of people would like to hire. I can get a kid, and this other kid may have been somebody we had to take a year ago. Now I can turn him away. And look at these other three that are basically saying they want to come. And this is a new place to be in for Florida State.
Well, that part of the portal, that part of the portal, I was combined transfer portal to Tortle.
I like it.
But that part of the portal that I do think is something we need to keep emphasizing is the numbers are similar. Last year they brought in, I don't know if it was 12, 13, it was double digits transfers, same as the year before. This year it's going to be around that same ballpark, maybe a little less, but definitely double digits. But the caliber is night and day. The guys they brought in, Jared Verse, obviously a great player. We now know what Trey Benson and Johnny Wilson and some of those guys have become.
But they were kind of like a risk.
They were a wild card.
People were not beating down their doors. And so Florida State really did such a good job by getting in early, making good evaluations, having those guys turn out and be successful. Going back to Dylan Gibbons. And, really, Keir Thomas was not
he was a great
huge
player.
name.
It ended up being a great player.
Ended up being a great player. They've hit on so many of those that now they're winning these battles against schools they probably shouldn't beat. If it was coming from a high school player, there's a lot of people that Florida State beat out in this transfer class for elite players. They're not getting a Fentrell Cypress
right
if he was as highly regarded coming out of high school. They're not going to beat Georgia or Alabama or any of those schools for that. But what they've done in the portal and that proof of concept, this group they're bringing in is a different caliber than the last couple of years.
They got 4 of the top 12. Yeah. That's incredible. That's and guys that can play. I guess still there's a kid from UTEP, a kid from Western Michigan. You don't know until you see it in person. But Jared Verse was from Albany. And I think I've made this point on Wake Up Warchant. I think when you're ranking these guys in the portal, and they've gotten very good at doing the high school kids too, for the most part, the recruiting experts, quote unquote. But it's even more so with the portal guys. They know, okay, this guy can play. That you're not going to have a bust. Fentrell Cypress probably isn't going to be a bust. He's the number 2 player in the whole country.
He's been covering ACC guys
for 2 or 3 years. So that what you're getting with these guys, because they're 21, they're men. They're 21-year-old men. They're already developed. So getting 4 of the top 12 at positions of need, combined with what you have coming back, yeah, man, you can't say. And you got your DB coach that you've wanted forever. This has been the best 6-week off season, or what are we not 3 weeks in the off season that Florida State has had in a long, long time.
On top of bringing back almost all your team. They didn't have the attrition all these other schools have had.
Yeah, roster retention was a point of emphasis clearly from the collective. And so you look at that and you realize, okay, they put an emphasis on bringing these guys back. They've got a really good locker room, so you want to bring those guys back. Plus, they showed they could play, so they grew into their roles, and now they can help shepherd the new guys that come in. And then I think from there they will take it's interesting. The portal is a work in progress for everybody, for those of us that cover it, for the coaches that have to utilize it, the players whose services they're offering, right? We're learning. I think that it's malleable. We're going to be doing this year to year. Like, are there positions of strength? It's like the draft.
Yeah.
Every year in the draft, you'll have experts say, well, God, if you need a tackle, this is a good year because you got 9 of them in the first 2 rounds they're going to go that all grade out as plus players. One of these guys could be your tackle of the future. Other years, gosh, this is a bad year to need a quarterback. There's none of these guys are rated as highly as some of these other past drafts. I think what we're discovering and starting to see is it's going to be interesting. I think your elite offensive tackles rarely come available in the portal. You can get good players at that position in the portal, but maybe not X 5-star players are running to the portal at that position. Now, that might change. But in the interim, we're seeing lots of defensive backs. You're seeing plenty of receivers. You see plenty of other positions.
Quarterbacks this year was nuts.
So it's interesting. I just think it changes year over year. We're all learning as it goes along. Some years you're going to say, God, I don't know. They need a linebacker. Well, there's 3 that can play that are in the portal. And if you're not getting one of those 3, you're taking a huge step back. Other years, there's 7 elite level linebackers available to us. So it's going to be a work in progress, and it's fascinating to follow.
And I think Norvell did a really smart thing. And I'm not saying just him. I think probably Bruce Warwick is his general manager and their entire staff, when they made the decision to expand the scouting department, to create a scouting department. And it's very much like you have in the NFL.
Yeah.
I remember talking to George Henshaw about this when he was in the NFL. You had an internal scouting department and an external scouting department. The internal is scouting the teams you're playing, but the external is scouting other teams in the league who may have players coming open in free agency and who might you be interested in.
Yeah.
And so who might not get signed or whatever. And so they've done that. They've evaluated guys across the country at the positions that they need that might be going into the portal so that they can jump on it early. And then they don't have to start the evaluation process. And I kind of assume maybe everybody's been doing that, But I don't think everybody's been doing that because I don't think everybody's been doing it as well as Florida State's been doing it.
It's odd. It's like I change my opinion on the portal weekly. Like I feel like I've come like I
Well, you're a big portal guy. What do you mean?
No, I mean, but like 6 weeks ago, I was like, man, I don't know. This is cool. This is a good stopgap. It's a good Band-Aid. But you can't become a championship contender relying on the portal. And now I'm like to the point where their whole starting 22, 18 of them might be in the portal. And they're at least a playoff contender. We can't argue that because they can compete for the ACC championship. And they've done it really heavily in the portal. And can you go forward doing? Because right now, my opinion is I don't think this is cool in the short term, but in the long term, can this work? And I still kind of hesitate with that. And then I'm like, well, if you keep doing it this well, maybe.
Well, as we said, it's a work in progress. I do think it will get more expensive to do this over time. I also think
it's good money spent.
Yeah, if you can convince somebody to spend it. But I think the rules will change too. I think you're seeing some of the perils in the way that modern college football is operating, and there will become some streamlined things that are going to happen across the sport. I don't know when, because I don't know who's going to make those rules. As of right now, the NCAA doesn't have any interest in governing the sport at all. Power 5 conferences have an interest, though, and I think they're going to probably have to step in at some point. But the point is, while it's available, it's awesome to have a staff that has maximized the ability to recruit it. And they did need to do it because they were further behind the championship level teams that you're referencing.
They couldn't come close to catching up to Clemson doing it the traditional way. You couldn't wait 2 or 3 years for these guys to maybe develop into something.
Yeah, and he needed to have a winning season. That's the problem. He got screwed when he got here. He inherited a nightmare, and then you have the pandemic. So a lot of factors weighed into it. He couldn't recruit at a high level out of high school because nobody would answer the call. Why would they, right? So he knew, if I don't have a winning season soon, we talked about it going into this past year. He was, in my mind, he was a dead man walking if they go 6-6. Not that they would have fired him at the end of the year, but that he would have never been able to get solid footing. He had to have this season, and he had it in large part because of the portal.
Yeah, and I think it's also, when we talk so much about the portal, which we should, it's a huge part of what they've done. It provides an image that they're not also developing high school players. They are. I mean, if you look at position by position on defense, I think if you look at I don't have the number in front of me. I think it was 7 of the starters last year on defense were guys that started their careers at Florida State. It's not like this is all team portal. I mean, you look in the secondary, one of the starting corners and in Shaheem Brown at safety, Akeem Dent at safety, Renardo Green at corner were all homegrown guys.
Mm-hmm.
Kalen DeLoach,
but they weren't Norvell guys. So I think that's where some people might still hold. I mean, they got developed here, sure. Right. But Renardo Green was a Willie guy. Akeem Dent was a Willie guy. Like DeLoach, Robert Cooper, was probably a
Jimbo guy.
Robert Cooper might have been a Bowden guy. I don't remember who recruited Robert Cooper.
But I mean, I don't.
You know what I mean?
My point is, it's not like this has all been
correct.
A team
it
of
wasn't a portal of and I also don't think it's mercenary. And I know what you're saying that's people say. I do think this is kind of the new age. It's not like, oh, he's just going to come in, he's a free agent, he doesn't care. I think they do get indoctrinated in the culture and do become Florida State Seminoles.
And I think, again,
Jermaine Johnson did it overnight.
Yeah.
Well, and again, to pimp my Justin Turrentine article, if people want to go read it, because we talk about it all the time, the culture, and Norvell talks about it obviously all the time. And we get to a point where you kind of get numb to it and you're like, okay, we get it. There's a good culture here. But think about that guy's situation. Justin Turrentine came to Florida State last summer. He came in July or August. He had been in the program 4 or 5 months. And when you read his quotes, he's like, and he's been everywhere. He went to junior college. He was at South Carolina. Then he came to Florida State, and he said he's never had anything like this. He didn't expect the way the team embraced him when he got here. And that's a big deal, man, especially when you've got guys here for a short window.
Well, it's why they're winning in the portal, though, Ira. Right. That's why. I mean, that reputation precedes them. They walk through that door to have that conversation, and these players know they can talk to a number of examples, like you're alluding to, of guys that are in their shoes. Guys that are kind of thinking about leaving the school they're at. They just don't know what else is out there. What is it like elsewhere? And then they're talking to Keir Thomas. They're talking to Jamie Robinson. They're talking to Jermaine Johnson. They're talking
to men, too. I mean, they're talking to men, right? They're
yeah,
talking to guys that have experienced the things they've experienced. You're not some fresh-faced 17-year-old that's like all wide-eyed. You're talking to guys that have been through college football and know the realities of it.
And Jared Verse said the reason he came was because of the conversations he had with Jermaine Johnson. A big part of the reason. The other thing that, Maurice Smith kind of let this slip when we were talking to him, I guess it was right before the bowl. It was one of the last bowl practices here. I asked him about, what he says to transfer offensive linemen when they're coming in. And he said, well, with transfer guys, you really have to be 100 with them. And he like caught himself. He's like, well, we tell the truth to the high school kids too. But, they know that the high school kids want to hear high school kids want to be sold.
Sure.
Those guys, the older guys, when they've only got 1 year, they don't want you BSing them. They want to know the truth and the good and the bad.
They don't have time. They don't have time.
And so my point is, I think we get tired of talking about it. People might get tired of hearing about it. Sometimes it might feel like, yeah, we get it. There's a good culture, but it's a huge part of what they're doing. And I don't think we should stop talking about it because it is essential to the success they've had.
And to some degree, it will change. The more success you have, the harder it is to maintain that. I think it's easier to get buy-in and everybody pulling in the same direction when you're climbing, as opposed to sustaining. Now, that's the next great challenge. Doesn't mean you can't do it.
Not easy, always easy to do it because a lot of times people can't do it.
Right.
We saw that happen the coaching staff before here, but it's a different challenge.
It is a very different challenge. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise.
I'm Andy Cohen with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. Please call me at 850-671-FARM.
Crawfordville Auto and Tire. Crawfordville Auto and Tire. Oh, hey there. I was just singing the praises of Crawfordville Auto and Tire. They do just about everything. Complete engine rebuilds, brakes, shocks, tires, oil change, you name it, they do it. And they offer a 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty on all parts and labor. Most of the time, they can service your car the same day and offer towing to help you get to the shop. Now that's something to sing about. Open weekdays from 7:30 in the morning until 6 at night. Crawfordville Auto Repair and Tires.
This is Ken Wondergem, owner of Gem Mazda of Tallahassee, serving North Florida and South Georgia for over 20 years. And I'm happy to announce that things are finally back to normal at Gem Mazda. Our lot is loaded with brand new Mazdas for the first time in 2 years. So if you've been waiting for the price and selection of new cars to return to normal, the wait is over at Gem Mazda, where we've always provided our customers with the highest quality of service and care. You know Mazda's reputation for efficient, dependable, and affordable vehicles, but you simply must experience the luxurious new lineup of 2023 Mazdas in stock now at Gem Mazda during our New Year's sales event. Get adventurous and connect with nature in a brand new 23 Mazda CX-50 with all-wheel drive. But hurry in while the value of your trade is still high. At Gem Mazda, we take our slogan seriously. No games, no gimmicks, just a gem of a deal. Gem Mazda of Tallahassee, Capitol Circle Northwest, just up from West Tennessee Street, and always open at gemmazda.com.
Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
If you're like most Americans, you can see things are out of control. Global problems have local consequences, too many of them. And if the next news headline spins us into chaos, you'd better be ready. Grocery store supply chains are only as strong as their weakest link. Don't wait for them to break. Today's the day to secure emergency food for everyone in your family. My Patriot Supply is America's largest preparedness company. Our specially packaged and delicious food stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. It'll be there when you need it. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and pick up several emergency food kits. There are a dozen different sizes that average over 2,000 calories per day. As we all know, calories equals energy equals survival. And as you'd expect from a true preparedness company, our food kits are in stock and ship quickly. Those who know what's coming are preparing today. Go to mypatriotsupply.com. mypatriotsupply.com.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
We were talking about how it's ever changing. I also think that Norvell has shown the ability to adapt, and his staff has adapted nicely. They may not have the same philosophy moving forward 2 and 3 years from now. So we don't know, is this going to be Portal U or whatever? They may make changes about how they're able to recruit and who they recruit. It may be shifting all the time. I just don't want people to get the wrong idea that is the way they view the world of recruiting, that you just have to go this route. I don't think that's the way they view it. They view this as something they had to do. They've been very successful at it, thankfully. And then we'll see where they go from here.
Well, I would say this. I'm not out there covering recruiting like our guy Michael Langston. But I do read the stories. I do post the stories.
But do you go to bed at night thinking it's a good thing I don't have to be out there like our guy Michael Langston does for recruiting? Me too.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, Michael.
Yeah.
But
it's just a different lifestyle. That's all.
But what I would say about it is a noticeable difference, the kind of guys that are talking about Florida State this year compared to last year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go back to like Willie's first year, because this has kind of been the cycle. Now, they started when Willie got here, he aimed for the fences. He thought, I'm Willie Taggart. I'm at Florida State. We're going to get the best of the best.
Thibodeau's coming.
Remember the guys that they had on campus? Your linebacker from Georgia was here. Who's the Southern linebacker?
Not Nolan Smith, the other guy.
Yeah.
The guy, it escaped me. He's awesome. He was the best player on the team last
Kobe
year.
Dean.
There you go.
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of guys Willie was shooting
Kobe, I love
for.
you.
And they struck out on all of them, except maybe Jaden Lars Woodby. He might have been the big pickup right there in the first class. But my point is, he was going for and they were getting those kids to talk to them because Florida State had been good before he got here. They were winning 10 games. 2017
the one bad year
seemed like a blip.
Yeah.
And then, so Willie's telling, we're going to get right back there. And then when they stunk, they struck out on all those kids.
Yeah.
Then you go in the tank now for a couple of years.
Oh, yes.
And you can't get those guys to come to campus. You can't get those guys to
junior day is not a good day.
It's not what it could possibly be.
Yeah.
And so now, even last year, where I think people around here started to feel like, okay, Mike might have something going here. There's some good things happening through the portal, whatever. It was going to be very difficult to get the high school kids. Now, when you look at the guys that they're in the mix with, Michael puts up his hot boards for different positions, and we don't know that they're going to get all these guys, but they're now in the mix for a lot of elite players at a lot of different positions, and that is a different experience from what they've been recruiting the last few years.
It's the theme, right? They're picking up the phone. For lack of a better term. It's like you can call a coach, you can call a player now that is of a different caliber. And when they see the caller ID, they're not like, just let that go to voicemail, guys.
Who?
No. We're not picking that phone call up, right? Now they'll pick up the phone. Now they're like, oh, hey, that could be Mike Norvell. That could be, So it changes the game. Winning solves a lot of problems, man. And they had a nice year, and now the expectations rightfully are going to be very, very high. I think it's hilarious since we last talked that, basically you could probably sample 20 different way too early preseason polls, and Florida State's in the top 10 of 75% of them.
Yeah, top 5 and half of them.
Yeah, okay, that's a bit much. That seems aggressive. Top 5. But okay.
Calm it down. Calm it down a little bit. Let's calm it down.
Well, preseason top 5 seems a bit much. But top 10, okay, I can see that. Certainly top 15.
Yeah, they finished 10th in the coaches poll. So and they're bringing all the big people back except Jamie Robinson.
Your boy Kirby didn't care for Florida State.
Throwing him down at 18.
18.
Huh? Yeah.
My man, you were a GA here. What is the problem?
What is bones here, man?
You loved you some Bobby Bowden in Florida State. What happened? Maybe you didn't see Florida State games. Maybe You didn't vote at all?
I
Maybe
did
that's
like that
very
he had
possible, too.
Alabama like 6th or 7th, right? Like
Yeah.
he put Alabama.
I would do that too.
and
If I were
Saban
him.
had
That
Alabama
makes more
second.
sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was like 18th.
I don't think he's even paying attention. He
Of
probably
course
doesn't even know
he's
what their
not.
record
That's
was.
He's
right. That's-
coaching the team to the national championship. He didn't have time to be worried about rankings.
The SIDs generally do it. Although I did appreciate that one time when Jimbo tried to
Got caught in a lie again.
passionately tell us how
I watch
how
all the
he-
games.
Mm.
I stay up till 5 a.m. on Sunday morning watching
My
the
favorite
Oregon
part
Arizona
was
State game.
he put poor Kerwin on the spot.
Yeah, he's like,
Kerwin's
right,
in the
Kerwin,
room.
tell him.
Kerwin, where did I put? I put him at 9th. Didn't I put him at 9th? And Kerwin's like,
That was like the time when he tried to. Yeah, I think it was at one of the bowl press conferences when he tried to get Sean Powell to vouch for the fact that they tell Burt Reed to drop the pass on the sideline.
which is still my favorite lie of all time.
Tell him, Sean.
Yeah.
How much do we work
We
on
practice that at least twice a week at the
Yeah.
end. At the end, you never know when you're going to need to drop one.
Yeah. Well, Bert. It's always Bert. We
Yeah.
always want Bert to be the one.
Well, he's designated.
He's a designated pass dropper. He does it better than anyone.
It's just crazy. Is that why you fell to your knees?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that
He thought he
Because he thought
mistakenly
he
caught it.
he thought he
mistakenly,
caught it.
yeah.
It's like,
That-
what did we
Bert,
practice
we
that
worked
for?
on this,
Yeah.
Bert.
You know you're supposed to drop that, Bert. It's an elaborate ruse.
Yeah, that's why we call a play and waste time so you can drop a pass and
As
we
the
move no
remaining
closer.
seconds are ticking down, we'll fool them all. We're going to call a play where you're not even supposed to
They
catch
think we're trying to advance the ball to get closer to the field
for
goal.
the field goal
Yeah,
attempt.
no.
No.
We're in good spot here. He'll make it.
There's a play off of it. There's 2 plays right off of that.
Next play
you didn't
now.
get to see that.
Next play, you're going to catch it.
Yeah.
You're going to catch it.
Jimbo sees Johnny these days, and he's like, "Where was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my guy."
Man, he's perfect for that
I would
scenario.
designate it because it's an easy catch, so I know he's going to drop it. And then we
Don't throw it where it's almost
Don't
going to
make
go
it
to the
difficult
band.
where he's gotta go like
He's going to
Don't
snag
make
it.
that
Get
catch.
it
Don't let
down.
him moss somebody. Right here, right in the bread basket.
if he's double covered and it's impossible, it's a catch.
Oh,
If it's right here with nobody, he's going to drop it.
just like we drew it up.
All-time great moment. There are several of those, including the press conference post-NC State in which he blamed every player on the field.
Yeah, execution. Just got to execute better, which he said a lot this year too. Hey, but since the last time we talked, I think Tate Rodemaker, they got his battles
NIL
in thing,
deal.
NIL deal.
$50.
That's a sneaky.
Why?
That's
Why,
yeah, you don't have to
did
be like that.
You did that just for the reaction. You did
Also,
that
it's
just for the
think
gonna be
he
reaction.
completely-
he kneecapped my point, which was I was making, was it's a kind of a sneaky big deal because
Cash, $50 cash.
if Jordan Travis goes
Not
down,
a gift card.
you don't like what you have behind him if Rodemaker's not here. You don't.
Gift cards are some BS, by the way.
What do you
here
mean?
we go.
gotta-
What if
thought
they're
we were
just
talking about
basic gift
football
cards?
here.
I got a wonderful gift from somebody that in the business that was thanking me for my time doing things for
In
them.
the business.
What
How
does
about
that mean?
What is going on here?
In
There's
the
some- in the
business.
media industry that I've helped out from time to time. They
Oh,
sent me
oh.
a nice gift card, really nice gift card.
And now
you
you're
know,
about to complain about it.
We lost it.
Oh yeah,
Now what do you do?
we lost it.
Well, my family. I'm blaming them.
Oh okay, all right.
How
but
did you lose?
If it was $100 bill, they wouldn't have lost it. But it was a gift card, and it somehow got lost.
I take control of gift cards in my household. Give them to me. Give them to me. You're going
You
to lose
just
it.
confiscate them.
I confiscate them
You
as
give
soon as
them
the
out
kids.
and take them right back.
As soon as the kids open them, I'm like, now give that to me.
Yeah.
Because they have
You can-
lost them before.
Of course they have. They're kids. They
Yes.
don't know.
Yes, my youngest lost like a $200 gift card that he got from his grandpa, and I was like, you can't be losing $200 gift cards, my man. That is a sweet gift.
But it made me think when you're in the store and you see the gift cards, like one of the box wholesale places in town. I'm not going to name
sure.
them, but they've got like different restaurants where it's like $100 in gift cards for $80, which is like, oh, that's a great deal. Except they know my family's going to lose half of them.
Yeah,
Well,
they're
and
out
then
no
they-
money.
They just get free money.
There is a way to track. I think that, you may not want to go through this elaborate process, but I think you can find out. You'd have to call the person that gave it to you. They'd have to go through and
Well,
look at their card
doing
that
all
they've
that,
submitted. And all
I guess we can ask Tate, since apparently that's what he got paid at, his gift cards.
that. Cash, $50 cash.
Oh,
I
it's
told you.
cash.
Cash
Okay.
money.
Back-
Back
Yeah.
to your point.
No,
is a
it
big
got
deal.
kneecapped. I don't want to talk about
Hey,
it
I
anymore.
do want to talk about, because here's the point you were making, and I think it's erroneous.
Erroneous.
I don't think AJ Duffy's a bum.
I didn't say those words.
You intimated. What I'm telling you here.
we do have this debate quite
I didn't
frequently
say
at
those.
practice.
I didn't say those words.
Okay, here's what I'm telling you. you thought Tate would never amount to anything. You've said it twice.
You're right, and
numerous
he
times.
did take a leap.
Said
he
was-
did.
Said we can call him a bust.
Yeah, you're
what
right.
he said.
Right?
Well, he wasn't a high
You
enough
said that.
recruit to be a
But
bust.
that was your word.
You thought
I'll
I was
take
a
it
bust.
up.
Let's
You
just
can't
say
be a 3-star bust.
You said we can say right now that he is a bust.
we're not going to
You said
argue
that.
the nuanced language of bust, not a bust. You
I'm
thought he was
not
a bust.
disagreeing
You
that
thought-
I said he couldn't play.
Right.
I didn't believe in him.
All right.
But bust would have been a strong word
So
for a
he took
3-star.
a big
that's all.
step forward.
find
Yes, he did. All right.
Here's the point. AJ was a freshman.
Yeah, I know.
We got to stop doing this, man.
I know.
He was a true freshman.
I know. You're right.
Kids don't walk through the door. There are very few people like Jameis Winston that walk in, understand the offense, see the matrix, and can make all the throws. Like had Jameis played that year, he would not have been bad. He may not have turned out to be as great as Jameis turned out to be. But I think he probably would have been pretty good because he's a freak. There aren't many people like him. There aren't many people that see it that way. It's always too
Then
fast
let's
for a
flip
lot
it
of
then.
kids.
When does Brock Glenn get in? Is he an early enrollee?
No, I don't think so.
But so in August, you're going to have 4 quarterbacks.
Well, we got to have competition, baby. That's going to be good.
Which is great, but you're also cutting reps from, Duffy. If we think Duffy could be the future, he's getting 25% less reps because you have 4 scholarship quarterbacks.
Yeah, but he's got a head start on the kid coming in. He's got to be ahead of him. He's got to feel
No,
good
I know.
about
I
that.
just that you're going to have 4 scholarship quarterbacks. Like, to me, that's almost too many.
No, man. I mean, for whatever reason, Florida State's now been in this position where they've had so few. I think 4 is a good number. I mean, first of all, during the season, guys get dead arms at times. I mean, you don't want guys throwing so many. There were times this past year, I think, where you could tell Jordan wasn't throwing many passes in practice because I think it's just a lot of wear and tear.
I remember the McKenzie Milton year in the next spring when Tate started to look like a real college quarterback, being like, I wonder if the fact that he kept getting he was splitting third team reps
I think it was Chuba leaving mentally. I think Chuba leaving,
maybe you might be,
because they came in together.
Yeah.
And I think he saw Chuba as the prospect and he was kind of like the next guy. And I think as long as Chuba was here, I don't think Tate was going to take that step. And I think that was the difference.
Yeah, but I mean, it's nice to have that in case
an insurance policy.
It's an insurance policy.
Good.
And again, he's not Jordan Travis. He's not going to contend for a Heisman. But if Travis has to leave for a half or a game, and maybe Duffy does take that next step in the spring, you like that you're not. The season's not over.
Well, we learned that also last year. This is all part of that huge step forward for Florida State, because I don't know that Tate believed that he would play as well as he did in the second half of the Louisville game. I mean, he had no evidence to that end. He had played with a lack of confidence. It was overwhelmingly obvious.
Startingly lack of confidence.
We thought that was coming in preseason camp, but then he did not look good against Duquesne.
Oh, no.
And then the first 2 series against Louisville.
He throws the pick. He goes right to him, and you're like, well, sir,
what is he even looking at?
And then if you go all the way back to the one spring game where he couldn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, but I'm not holding on.
Well, I'm just saying, there was a series of things where you went, oh my God, it's just maybe that when the lights are on, it's too much. That's the evidence I'm talking about. I'm not holding the spring performance against him, but every time there was a chance to perform, he failed. And so we began to think, well, there's overwhelming evidence at this point that maybe it's just too much, because it was never about the physical tools with him.
And
everybody
could see it in practice, but we had seen it in practice.
Tons.
Like, that's a crazy throw. That's
there were
an incredible
days he
throw.
threw the ball a lot better than Jordan Travis, period. But
he would go out there and look like he was a sophomore in high school.
And it was disconcerting to say the least. So the fact that he had that game, one has to believe that he enters camp with a ton of confidence. He's under no pressure. He knows he's not the starting quarterback. He just had a lot of success. He should be looking to build on that so that he can be the starter when Jordan Travis takes it on down the road.
And Glenn in the chat made a great point, which I agree with. Tate's progress also is another example of the coaching of Tony Tokars, which I agree.
I completely agree.
Tokars done a really good job with all the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And I think it's helped them having a quarterbacks coach who's only a quarterbacks coach. Kenny Dillingham was quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator. That's common in a lot of places. That's common in a lot of places. But yeah, Kenny was trying to kind of build Kenny also at the same time. And that's not what Tony Tokars is facing.
Tony's awesome. I've interviewed him twice. We did one for the site before the start of the season. And I just really love the way he came across. I asked him some pretty, hard questions about Jordan's growth and where he had to get to and what evidence you've seen up to that point. Can he? And I love that he was like, no, we challenge him. He knows he's got to get a lot better throwing the ball in the middle of the field. He knows he's got to get a lot better with his footwork. He knows and he just said it. He laid it out. He goes, we have a plan in place. We're working on that plan. Jordan's receptive to it. He's already made great strides. Like, he laid that out. And then you saw it this year. So, you got to give high mark.
Give Norvell credit for that hire, because that's not a hire a lot of people were thrilled about. That was not the Patrick Surtain hire.
No.
People are like, you're promoting an analyst who was
But remember, Tony could have had a better job.
Yeah.
Could have left here, but he chose to stay here. And that, again, is kudos to Mike, because Mike's track record of building assistant coaches to a place where they will eventually get very high-paying jobs and they flourish elsewhere, it's well documented. And Tony realized, I could take the short route right now and become higher up the food chain, make more money, but maybe I won't have the success that I'll have down the line, which give me even greater opportunities if I stay there.
There had probably also been a handshake agreement. Like, look, man, Dillingham, Lanning's going to get a job soon. He's already told me he's going to hire Kenny as his OC. We're going to need a quarterbacks coach. After
they've known that. That was definitely part of it.
So that was all part of the natural momentum of that.
But Tony could have bailed. He could have, he could have said, okay,
well, he'd have been an idiot. So glad he's not an idiot.
He gets to coach Tate and AJ.
And Brock and old JT 13. JT, have you been to the? Whoa, what was that? You all right?
Oh, we lost Jeff.
I think
it's now it sounded better at the end.
We good?
Yeah.
It's not good. We got to
go to break, maybe.
We can certainly go to break. No, look, we saved it. Something happened. I don't know what's going on there.
Have you been to the J-Trav Heisman website yet?
Briefly.
No, and the more I think about it, the more I really don't like it at all.
But it's not a website. So I will say this. It's basically a page on Seminoles.com.
I'm pretty sure CP7 was the same thing.
Yeah, it's not really. You type in that web address, it still goes to like Seminoles.com. It's just like it's just like one big page of all his accomplishments and some highlight clips. It's not like get your Jordan Travis merch here and you can book a hotel for New York in December to go watch the ceremony.
Right. Here's the good news. From my understanding, because I asked around because it did start to bother me.
Yeah, me too, actually. It's a sign we're getting old.
I'm the dissenting opinion.
Yeah. No. But we're in agreement about owning expectations, which I think is a different thing than this. But what he doesn't have to do is a bunch of stupid extra stuff that pertains to his Heisman campaign.
He never did.
No, but I'm saying that's not the case with a lot of Heisman campaigns. Sometimes they will. Like, I don't think, for example, this is why I asked about it. Like, this whole idea that he didn't go out to Los Angeles and chose to stay here for workouts, that's nonsense. What would he have been doing in Los Angeles? What would he gone out there to do? Hey, everybody, it's me, Jordan Travis.
For the championship game?
Yeah, what was that all about? That didn't make any sense. And he would never want to do that.
Media opportunities.
It's like in Jerry Maguire when he brings Rod Tidwell to the draft with him, just so he can interview with people. I guess Norvell could have done that with Travis.
It just seems silly.
26 years old.
Just seemed really silly to me, and it's not something Jordan would want to do, nor does he. I mean, he doesn't like that kind of attention. Doesn't mean that he's afraid. It's just he doesn't like it, which actually makes it's endearing. It's a great quality of his. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your local news now.
The Florida Highway Patrol said an incident that occurred early Saturday that led to the death of a Suwannee County resident is under investigation. Around 3:30 a.m. Saturday, an SUV operated by a 57-year-old man of Live Oak was traveling south on U.S. Highway 129 approaching Duval Street. The SUV then traveled onto the southbound curb and sidewalk, then crashed into the building that is occupied by Hometown Jewelry and Loan Store. The driver of the SUV did not have a seatbelt on and was pronounced dead on the scene. Tallahassee kicked off their 9th annual Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade and Festival Monday. Hundreds lined Monroe Street prior to the festival at Cascades Park, celebrating King's life and legacy. The festival featured food vendors, live entertainment, and the dedication of the amphitheater to Tallahassee jazz musicians Julian and Nat Adderley. The festival in the park was held from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. with performances from Tallahassee Nights. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly cloudy skies this afternoon with a high of 73. Southerly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Lows level off around 59 tonight, overcast. Highs level off around 76 tomorrow. A blend of clouds and sun. Upper 70s Thursday with a chance for scattered storms. Low 70s, partly cloudy Friday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 72.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark. tsparkconstruction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Hey, Greg Tish here along with Matty Rowe. And you can listen to us Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Real Talk 93.3. Matt, we give away a couple things each week.
Just a few.
We've got the Florida Farm Bureau Insurance Wheel of Food. We have Give Me a Second, where we play a second of a song and you guess that song. And we also play FLA or Nay. We have a lot of fun Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on
The Greg Tish Show.
Think that's enough?
We could talk about our feelings.
There's a lot.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. only on Real Talk 93.3.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Things are successful like this, guys. Hours fly past. Like, it's already time for us to be.
We sure were good because we can barely hear you and it sounds a little hot.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
That just has to do with the levels of your head. I don't know what's going
But
on.
you're still a little hot.
There's a button there. There's something going on. People can hear me.
Y'all want me to go back to my house?
That's so loud.
Y'all want me to go back to my house in Georgia?
No, we're all right. Everything's all right now.
All right.
Everything.
Everything was great when you were in Georgia.
I know.
Except for that tinny silo that you were living in.
Exactly.
Echoing around. No, I was just saying the hours go by so quickly when we're, winning games and the team's fun to cover and the news is solid every day, positive. There's an influx of things to get excited about. We're almost to headliner questions, of which there will be a bevy.
If you listen to any Taylor's new stuff, she's got a great commercial.
Well, the one they play play that all the time with the guys pouring the wine.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. That get us another commercial,
But
Taylor.
we can't get enough Taylor.
Well, that's true.
So
That's
you
true.
did that so that we wouldn't talk about the Virginia
I
loss?
felt like you were going to start talking about some basketball.
I wasn't. I've dedicated myself to not bringing up the basketball
Can
program.
you, by the
this
way,
year.
I heard you on his show last week saying that you edited one of my columns because I predicted they wouldn't have a winning record. Can you
I
now
changed
go?
it to might.
Oh, okay. I just
didn't
said they
take it
won't.
out.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
You just said it definitively.
Well,
You're
I
like,
mean,
they're not
because I'm
gonna-
a smart guy. I knew that they weren't very
I
good and they
toned
had a tougher
I toned it
schedule
down.
coming up.
I toned it down. But yes, you were correct.
But
I got a little false hope with the 3 wins.
Can I see? It's doing it again. Now, can I ask you this? So we all go into that. This is it. You guys don't deviate to Taylor Swift. I just want to ask you this question. So we knew that you had to guard the 3-point line.
The best part about it is not just threes, but dead on top of the key threes.
Easiest one.
Where they could just step right into them.
Baseline ones, nobody open in the corner. Those are easy ones too. Yeah, they don't do it well, and
Yeah,
they don't change.
The one kid that had like 3 out of 4 in the first 5 minutes or whatever, I thought, well, maybe he doesn't shoot a ton. I don't watch a lot of Virginia basketball. Maybe he doesn't shoot a ton. No, he shoots a lot, and he shoots like 40%, and they're just leaving him wide open. By the way, how about my guy, Tony Bennett? So my complaint from back in the day was the fact that they lost to Florida State and held like a 4-minute press conference. Wouldn't take any questions from the visiting media.
We all know, Ira.
My man was there for 10 minutes on Saturday. They had to literally kick him out of the room.
Yeah. Tony, you're done.
Is it self-serving? You feel like it was a little self-serving?
10 minutes. Any other questions? Anyone? Anyone else?
Guys,
Anybody else have any other
he
questions?
heard your complaint.
But
And
when he
now
got
you're
his
going to
ass
bust his
kicked,
ass about this?
He couldn't. He should run it out the door.
Ira, that
So-
was 7 years ago. It
That's
was
just-
7 years ago that happened.
Just saying, I feel a little validated. Is all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, we didn't give it too much thought, Ira. I know you've been worried about this for a long time, but I will say I'm disappointed in him. He's dressing down these days.
Oh,
Tie's
TV?
gone.
Well,
What's going on?
And Leonard's program hasn't been the same since he started wearing sweats.
I'm with Corey on this.
You
Corey's
got
the
to
other
start
night.
dressing again like a G,
professional. Come
like
on,
a G
man.
that he is.
He always
man.
looked great.
Yeah, he was the best dressed guy in the country.
I think the Achilles and hip injuries did something to his dressing standards. I think he just decided, I don't need to be dressed
You know how
up
they
to get
say
hurt
sometimes when you got a big test, you should dress up for it.
for success.
Dress for some, just even a test like in high school, like dress nice that day. Feel good about
Dress
yourself.
for the job you want.
Yeah, I feel like.
I also need to thank the Seminole Headlines community, the family that we've established here, because nobody told my kids that they were getting Taylor Swift tickets for Christmas. I had let it drop on here like a month ago.
And nobody told them.
I was worried that it was going to get out somehow. Somebody's going to leak it. Nobody said a word. So the surprise on their faces, Christmas morning, Stephanie's daughter didn't get the surprise. She already knew.
Yeah, from the other parents.
It would be, see, damn this thing. I'm going to throw this mic into a river.
Sorry, Jeff.
I'll just tell Corey about Taylor Swift.
You guys
for a while.
can do this for
but
like
they got
5
the
minutes.
They got the concert coming up. I'm going to Springsteen in 2 weeks.
I knew that.
Tampa.
And by the way, I think you're probably seeing the last of the Springsteen shows.
Might be.
I think that's probably up. That's not going to work. I'm going to have to change mics. I'm going to come in there and do a show with you guys. Have Matthew deal.
What's that you're saying? I'd like a large fry, a Diet Coke. And should I pull around for the total, or can you tell us?
$7.50.
Okay, great.
Say large?
Yeah.
This isn't going to work. Music. Just you two talk amongst each other.
Oh,
We'll
all right.
fix the sound card. Here
The
you go.
shake machine's broken.
It's weird.
I wanted to see him just throw his mic out the window.
So we're still on. We can still talk. So what'd you do this weekend? Watch basketball? Just watch that basketball game?
What'd you think of the Bucks? We could talk crap about
There you
the
go.
Bucks.
Yeah,
that
so
team's a lot of fun.
I've never seen an NFL quarterback throw passes that looked like that ever. Like, and I know he's obviously the best that's ever done it, but he was throwing to spots where nobody was. He was throwing straight into the ground. Mike Evans was running one way. He was throwing. I mean, I've never seen incompletions like that.
Nobody looked like they wanted to be there.
Well, he certainly didn't. And anytime somebody gets near him, he's like, I'm not putting my body on the line for this. So he gets rid of it quick.
So
but
what do? Let's get your prediction. What's Tom Brady going to do, Corey?
He can't come back to this. He's not going to have. If he comes back, it will not be in Tampa, right? It's got to be. I don't know who needs like the Jets. Would he go to New York because they have a good surrounding supporting cast? The Dolphins, maybe if Tua can't play.
That's where he wanted to go originally.
Yeah,
allegedly.
I mean, I think he'd like to throw to Waddle and Tyreek Hill, much like Jordan Travis gets to throw to Pittman and Pittman and J-Dub.
I would like to throw to Waddle and Hill. So, are we just done, or is he done for done?
I don't know. I assume people can still hear us. They can. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So you don't. What'd you say? Oh, you do like the Jordan Travis for Heisman.
It's not like I don't think it's the greatest idea in the world. Oh, here comes Jeff, everybody.
Hey, man. Hey, buddy.
I don't think it's the greatest idea in the world. I just don't see what the big drawback is. And I think people are so concerned that, it's like you're putting yourself out there and that people are going to make fun of Florida State. And I just don't think, is that what other concern is there?
Well, I can hear you because you're right. Standing next to me.
That sounds good. Sounds better in there. We're going to end up doing a weird show today, boys.
Oh, I can't wait. Right.
So
I can't wait.
Jeff is in here. Come on over here. You can sit on my lap.
I can sit down here with you guys. I'll get it on camera here in just a second. First of all, Tom Brady was terrible last night, looking like he was shot. He's been bad for a few weeks now. But that said, I'm glad the season's over. I was tired of watching that team play, to be honest with you.
Have they fired Leftwich yet?
They are going to fire him, yes. That got announced this morning by all the surrounding sites that cover the Bucs down there. They're like, it's done.
Do we need to stop there?
Probably not. But the one thing I will say, Bowles was forced to keep the staff that he got when he was elevated to head coach. He didn't hire any of those guys. I think you owe it to him to let him hire the staff around him if you're going to assess him.
But do you think Bowles and Brady get along?
I think they're fine. I mean, they're different sides of the ball. I'm not real sure as much as Brady's nice enough to hug Leftwich every time he comes to the sideline that they're exactly boys.
Yeah. So this is great. Well, now they can't see you and they're just seeing the back of our heads.
They just hear the voices. But we're going to fix it during the break. And luckily that music is about to start. Kids, hour number 2.
We did it, Ira. We held it down.
We
held it down.
They're going to save the day.
That we will be able to embrace and enjoy. You don't even have to see me to listen to headliner questions. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with. Considering buying a new home in the current climate. All heard that demand is high, inventory is low. So how do you get a leg up on the rest of the buyers all making offers on the same house as you? Oh, that's a toughie. But the first place I'd suggest you start is with a call to my friend Shannon at Legendary Home Loans. Shannon will set you up with complete pre-approval underwriting. This used to be an upgrade, but nowadays it's got to be standard. You want to get your offer on a new home pushed to the front of the line, you need a TBD full underwriting approval from Legendary Home Loans. You'll shorten or even remove your financing contingency, and the sellers will know that your offer is real and ready to go. It's tough out there these days, folks, so why not have the advantage of a proven winning team in your huddle? Get pre-approval underwriting from my friend Shannon with the one and only Legendary Home Loans. Call now, 844-FSU-LOAN, 844-FSU-LOAN, or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS number 2270146.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinking. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Every day, Sellers makes life a little better for homeowners, helping them find the best design ideas for their homes with the best quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring. Even mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions are at their fingertips in their remarkable showroom. Maybe it's time for you to get the Sellers advantage for your home or office. Find them on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com. For style, quality, and design, get the Sellers advantage. In Tallahassee, call 656-8453.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
The latest betting odds and line movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers laying 2.5 at home with the Dallas Cowboys in an NFC wildcard game today. Total 45.5 at Raymond James Stadium. The winner will meet San Francisco in the divisional round. The Jacksonville Jaguars travel to Kansas City for the Saturday afternoon matchup this week. The Chiefs are the 8-point favorite with a total of 52. Jaguars rallied from 27 down to edge the Chargers 31-30 on Saturday. Tampa Bay Lightning $1.30 road favorite at Seattle. The Kraken plus 110. The Kraken have won 8 straight, 6.5 under the total. Florida A&M a 1.5 home favorite against Mississippi Valley State. Sign up now for your free VSiN subscription at vsin.com/subscribe. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
This week at Macy's, get an extra 20% off with your coupon or Macy's card. That's on top of already great deals, like 25 to 60% off cold weather gear for the whole family, 30 to 60% off select bedding and bath, plus 30% off select small appliances. And Star Rewards members earn on every purchase, except gift cards, services, and fees at Macy's, Macy's Backstage, and Market by Macy's. More at Macy's.com/Star Rewards. Savings off sale and clearance prices, exclusions apply.
Smooth skin begins with hydrating ingredients. Olay Hyaluronic Body Lotion nourishes your skin with all-day hydration for deeply moisturized results that give you confidence like buttery soft shoulders like and visibly smooth skin like. Quench your skin with nourishing moisture from Olay Hyaluronic Body Lotion. Try Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash too and get skin your face will envy.
Over 50 years ago, when Paul Nicholson founded Paul's Termite and Pest Control, he had one goal in mind: provide the best service possible to his neighbors so they felt like family. Your problem was his problem, so today it's our problem. Paul's service area is our home. It's where our kids go to school, where we shop, and where we get involved with community organizations. So if some out-of-town company knocks on your door and begins pressuring you to sign an agreement for termite or pest control, you can bet on a few things. Number one, you'll never see that person again. Number two, your technician is likely to change often. And number three, your money will not stay in North Florida. These companies are sending your money to home offices in Atlanta, Orlando, Salt Lake City, or even Great Britain. Paul's Termite and Pest Control knows local means something to you. The health of your Tallahassee home, family, and pets is our number one priority. For the elimination of termites and pests and a greener lawn too, call your local company with local solutions. Paul's Termite and Pest Control.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2 begins with headliner questions in just a moment. A little awkward.
I love that look, man.
Here we are. It's a little strange.
Looks like an album cover.
Yeah.
Is my mic even on?
Yeah, can you hear yourself? Turn yourself up over there. I'll turn myself up over here. It's very weird. I don't know. We're trying, guys. We're trying. This is the effort that we're willing to give.
This is what we do for you
to
guys.
Get headlines.
I will go back home. I promise. I can go back home and just do it on my terrible mic.
Birch Orthodontics.
I'm getting closer, Jeff.
No, I don't like it.
Closer to
I don't like it. Heather
Yes.
Birch and I had a long conversation yesterday. She is excited about the 20-year thing.
20th anniversary, yeah.
Yes. And also what we're about to embark on is really cool. So I didn't realize that we'll be talking more about charity and things like that here real soon. So she got me caught up, buddy. I just wanted you to know that while they were fixing Bryce's retainer.
That's good stuff, though, man. It's Dr. Birch. We've talked about it before. Not only do they do tremendous work, not only do they do payment plans and make it easy for you and the latest, greatest technology in orthodontic care for your family, make sure everybody's got a wonderful smile in your family, but also very community-minded, very civic-minded, very Florida State-minded. And like you said, it's her 20th anniversary in business, and to celebrate, they're going to do some charity things that we'll be announcing. We'll be mentioning some of these things throughout the year where trying to raise some money for some really important local projects, and it's awesome.
Like
and
the football team, like some NIL stuff.
I think we've been taking
okay,
care
we
of
doing
those.
that? Okay,
Yeah,
some
we're
other
doing all
stuff.
right.
Gotcha.
So here we go. The retainer is being fixed, and if you had to get your retainers fixed, you would want it done at Birch Orthodontics. So we say again, thanks to Dr. Birch and Birch Orthodontics.
Yes, and they will do great work, and it's good that she'll give back to the community. I feel like I'm in one of those infinity mirrors where like there's Jeff, and then like there's another one, then there's another one.
Yeah.
Florida Man in Texas says, cue the hot tub sponsor. Yeah, that's good. That is really, really well done. Here we go. Let's get to questions. But because Ira is over my shoulder, I got to lead with Twitter. I have no choice.
Of course.
He's going to be like,
just look at me the whole time.
I can sometimes lie and just say, this is a Twitter question.
He doesn't know the difference.
He doesn't know at all.
I've known all along this was what's happening.
Yeah. The time has come, gentlemen. Dennis Gates or Andy Enfield to replace Leonard. And yes, I hate myself for having to ask. Yeah, he's not one of these haters. I know that had to hurt you to ask the question.
I'm not sure Florida State's going to be in a position to get either of those whenever the time comes.
Yeah, I don't
think
they
could get CY.
Yeah,
yes,
I mean,
yes, but that wasn't one of his options.
Well, but I'm saying that's the option.
Yeah,
and I actually think it's a good one. Would you agree with that?
I think there's if he was, look, man, there's no doubt he's done a tremendous job for Florida State when he was here, recruiting, developing players, getting people to believe in.
It's about players,
believe in
man.
the program. But he's been a head coach. He hasn't been a head coach at this level, so that would be the only question. But yeah, man, I love CY. He's done a great job. But I think the program's been elevated to a point where there probably will be some really good candidates. I just don't know if either of those would be on Florida State's radar at this point.
Yeah, and Andy's done a good job at USC too. He's been there a decade now. They've been a pretty perennial NCAA tournament type team. I don't know that you'd leave USC to go to FSU.
And Missouri's going to be paying
a lot of SEC money.
Well, it's SEC money, and that's why you can't get Gates. Otherwise, I think you would make a run at him, and I think he'd say yes because he loves Leonard Hamilton and the opportunities he was afforded, and he made the most of them. Austin writes, which player do you see increasing their playing time the most in 2023? And you can't say Winston Wright because that would have been the answer.
Yeah, from zero to a lot.
Okay, well, that's an interesting one.
Armella?
Yeah, I think they're going to try to find a place to start him. I mean, he's going to have competition now, but if he's one of your best 5 offensive linemen, you got to find a way to get him out there.
Yeah,
and
he's
there's a good chance that he will be.
He's a good get, I think, or a good guess. I think one of the defensive linemen possibly also. I mean, Joshua Farmer. Well, that'll be an interesting. I'm very curious to see how that all plays out with all those defensive tackles because you bring back Lovett, but you also bring in the guy from Darrell Jackson from Miami. You also bring in Braden Fisk, and you got Josh Farmer. So maybe Josh Farmer's reps don't go up as much as I would initially have thought. So yeah, one of those linemen is probably the best bet.
I also think that if you're one of these defensive linemen that are going to be rotating in, you've just got to be over the moon that you're not going, like, for example, Fabian Lovett, who's now presumably, obviously, in his last year of playing college football, knows that he has to put some good tape out there for the next level. He doesn't want to have to play a ton of snaps.
You're not pacing yourself.
Right. I mean, so you want him to have to play fewer snaps, but more impactful snaps. Well, now that you have quality depth, he can do that. You can say, all right, big fella, you're only playing 40 snaps a game or 50 snaps a game, but you got to go to war for me when you're out there. I got reinforcements.
Yeah.
Also, I don't need you to play against whatever, North Alabama. You know, that tape isn't doing anything for you in the NFL. We'll let one of these young guys who are trying to come up start that day. You know what I'm saying?
I do, but to answer the question again, I think Rodney Hill's a good guess, and Shaheem Brown. Shaheem Brown played a lot there at the end, but he's probably going to be a starter and play most of it. He might get Jamie Robinson type snaps.
He better be a starter. If he's not a starter, he'll be in the portal.
Yeah,
because he's got a lot of ability. I mean, there's no doubt.
I thought you were making more of a comment on his character.
I think it's both. I think it's not character.
No, Shaheem Brown's going to be a star. I think he's got a chance to be a star. I think he's too good of an athlete to be on the bench for 3 years.
Charlton writes, hindsight being 2020, do you guys think all of the signs were there to tell us about Jimbo's coaching staff was cheeks because of how hard he had to work to get the results he wanted?
We can't use that. We're just too old. I know you're reading the question.
I'm reading the question.
But you have to, it needs to be like.
It's two different things here. I'm going to answer.
I'd rather you say ass.
Part of this here.
Buns?
When Jimbo took the job, he was willing to work 20 hours a day. He needed players, so he hired a bunch of recruiters. And they were not rock stars when it came to X's and O's. They were guys that could get you players.
Right.
Jimbo knew he had to flip the roster, and as he said, gets me some grown-ass men in here. And if that meant that he had to basically do more with each of the segment groups in the way of coaching, he was willing to do it. That version of Jimbo is a lot younger than the current version of Jimbo. And he was
had
getting
more hair, less hair, then more hair.
He was also getting an opportunity to be a head coach, and he had to cash in the chips. He had to go in. And so he did that. So, yeah, I think almost by definition, he knew that he was bringing in a type of coach that was more a recruiter than a on-field coach. And
but he's talking about the staff at the end.
But I would say this, though.
He also remained way too loyal to some guys on his staff who were at the end of their career.
I mean, they were cheeks.
Just pure
cheeks. I've never seen unadulterated cheeks.
I also don't think the implication that maybe Norvell is not working quite as hard. I don't know if I buy into that. Man, that staff works really hard.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of time. Now, I do think there's diminishing return at some point. And I think that was sometimes with Jimbo where it felt like, man, you're making these guys stay up there till 11 o'clock at night and be back at 5 a.m. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win more games.
And one of the telling things about Jimbo when he left, one of the things that may be the maddest is like, oh, now these guys aren't good enough to coach with you at A&M. They were good enough for you to apparently have lifetime contracts in Tallahassee. But when you go to get another job, all of a sudden they're not. You want to go get somebody better. Why wouldn't you have done that at Florida State?
I have to admit, who's the good cop, who's the bad cop is a great line there for people watching us.
It looks like an interrogation.
I'm clearly, take off the hat. You're clearly the bad cop. And I've watched First 48.
No, man, I'm telling you, I think Ira's the one that leaps at you. Like he's like the one that like he's all calm and then he leaps at you. Tell me the truth.
Has to say, listen, when he gets out of the room to go get a Diet Coke, I have to be like,
yeah, but look at the camera and do it.
But I'm going to say to you, the person I'm interrogating, I'm trying.
Right.
I'm trying, but I can tell. I've worked with this man for 32 years.
Yeah.
He's this close to ripping your head
off. About to lose it.
The next time you lie to my face, I don't know that I can keep him from coming over this table.
Look at him. He's a bear.
And so it's at that point, right?
Yeah.
But I like when you get up all frustrated in the moment. You're like, there's a sigh.
And then when I walk back in, there's just a big sigh. When I walk in, I sigh as I'm walking in, like crack my knuckles.
Yeah. It's about to be on. It's about to be on. Now you got to give us a little something. I mean, you're playing this little game of you're telling me everything, but you're saying nothing. We got That's a phrase I would use.
That's interrogation by Seminole
interrogation.
Headlines.
Yeah, that kid's like, oh man, he's a veteran. All right, more questions. Here we go. Burke writes, what do you see as the number one goal for the football team this upcoming spring?
Oh, the spring. That's a good question. I
think to me, it's going to be some of these position battles on defense. I mean, especially corner. I mean, if Fentrell Cypress, I really want to see what he does. You've got a bunch of guys coming back, and Amari and Cooper kind of return. To me, that's secondary, maybe the linebacker core.
I feel like
evaluating that group.
Figure out what you have at safety and linebacker, and if you need to go make a significant upgrade or significant additions, maybe not upgrade, but do you need depth? How much depth do you need at those two positions? I think this spring can tell you a lot there, because I don't.
But you're not going to be able to go out and do a whole lot of shopping, I don't think.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if you make the price right,
one
you can
guy,
go
one or
shop
two
for
guys.
everyone. Everybody's available, Ira.
I would also argue that offensive line is going to be fun. Finding out who your five are coming out of spring. I mean, it probably carries over into the fall, but that's going to be a battle.
It's always hard though with O-line, because half of them are coming off surgery or they're slowed. It just seems
that's
like
the way it's been in the past, but that's because they had to start guys that weren't ready to play. They haven't had to do that the last 2 years. And now you've got guys who put on legitimate size and strength who will be entering into this next season having made gains instead of recovering from the loss of an injury, right? Like, you got guys now who are getting bigger, stronger, and better. Atkins is a really good coach. Those guys are learning. Like, I think a guy like Estes would be worlds better going into – well, he better be. I mean, he's physically as tough and as strong as they come. Right. He just doesn't always do the right thing. And he gets yelled at for it. But I would think that he grew an awful lot this year, getting yelled at every day by Atkins. And we know he's strong enough and he's nasty enough. Like, let's see what he becomes. And he enters the competition big time at guard, one would think.
It should be a really fun spring, because like last year, even though there was a lot of things we were excited about, there were still some pretty big question marks. The biggest one being, I think, offensive line.
Yeah.
At the end of last spring, we did not feel like they had done enough. And then they went out and got some more guys. But I think that it's going to be a fun spring, man. It's really just, I don't have one answer, but those are all good answers. But I think it's across the board. It's going to be a really fun spring.
Chill Will writes, what up, fellas? What I would like to, I'd like to ask, maybe is what he said. Are we building a budding rivalry with Colorado, or what did Dion do for us to seem to hate him so much? Oh, no, I don't think there's a rivalry with Colorado. That program has been so far down for so many years. They don't have a rival. They don't really. Awful.
Who is it?
It used to be Nebraska.
Yeah.
But they don't really have a rival anymore. And moreover,
a lot of FSU fans are mad at Dion because of what he did with Travis Hunter. It's not just the fact. It's not just the fact that he took Travis Hunter. It's the way he took him.
Yeah.
On signing day, it's like kind of like this Cormani McLean thing in Miami. Nobody feels bad for them, but it's not just he's just not getting guys to flip. It becomes this orchestrated thing where you're kind of embarrassing the other school, and he did it to his alma mater. So it's not cool. About Colorado.
Is Cormani McLean going to go to Colorado?
He visited there
Well, that would be, hey, now if he gets a guy to spurn Miami a year after Travis Hunter,
FSU fans can start liking him again.
It doesn't completely erase it, but it puts salve on the wound a little bit.
Dion gives ammunition for Florida State fans of any program anywhere in the country, fans of college football, fans of humanity, all the reasons in the world to dislike him.
Fans of humanity.
You say that, though. Did you watch him on the Manning cast last night at all?
He was great.
He was great on that.
Because he can be really good in that setting.
So good in that setting. And if that's the setting you know him from, you wouldn't understand why anybody would ever. Yeah, exactly.
But the people who know.
But he is so good in that setting.
Oh, yeah. No, that's always
been doing it for a long time. Yeah, he's good on TV.
He's really good at it. Yeah. But it's, if you know all the other stuff, it's easy to see why people kind of, How much of Georgia's recent success is due to FSU and other two schools in Florida not running at peak efficiency? That's from Christian. Well, I think any time that a program in your footprint that you compete against for players in your region, certainly all the schools in the SEC are in FSU's region, if those schools are not operating at peak efficiency, we've seen it within the state numerous times, but also in the surrounding areas. If Florida State's down, if Florida's down, if Miami's down, it makes it all the more easy for Clemson and Georgia and Alabama and others to come into your state and cherry pick the best players.
Yeah.
The three
I don't
schools,
even think it's that, though, right? Like Florida State could go into Georgia and get guys. That has stopped a lot. The ones that Georgia wants, you don't go into Georgia and get. You were doing that all the time back in the day.
Yeah, but when
it's a combination. I don't know if there's a chicken or the egg. I think they both are happening at the same time. Clemson and Georgia got really headed in the right direction. At the same time, Florida State, I don't know if either one caused.
Also, they're just coached really well. Like Mark Richt had no problem getting highly ranked recruiting classes. He did it his whole time there. They were top 5, top 4 all the time. It's just they weren't maybe developed or coached real well when they got there. Now they're getting the same types of classes, probably a tick better, but they're also getting coached.
But
by
Clemson they went and got Sammy Watkins. They got CJ Spiller.
No, they walked into the state and did whatever they wanted.
They also
Before
went to
Florida State
Georgia
had fallen
and got
apart.
Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson out of Georgia's backyard.
Yeah. So, but I also think so that when you have a measure of success and then you capitalize on that success the following year and back it up, which is going to be pivotal for Florida State, you begin to remove the number of options schools have to come in and cherry pick from your state, because all of a sudden Florida State's relevant again, and the history and the cachet within the state gets passed on by high school coaches. Kids have an option to stay in the state, and they choose it more often, obviously, if that school is kicking ass on par with or something close to. There was no reason for an elite player out of Tampa, Orlando, Miami, Jacksonville to say yes to any of these schools recently. They would always say yes to a Georgia and Alabama or a Clemson because those schools are competing for national championships.
Yeah,
I want to go play for a national championship, and I want to go pro. I don't want to go 5-7.
And no offense to Corey's alma mater, but I think it's like a lot of SEC schools before NIL. There was some activity going on at Georgia that kind of helped build this program.
How dare you? I never saw it. I was on campus, I think, for 6-7 years. I never saw anything untoward.
You don't like that he's, towards the end of this segment, besmirching your Georgia
the
Bulldogs
Harvard of the South
success?
Yes, I don't like it at all.
That might have given him a little kickstart.
Wade wants to know, when Ira goes to the basketball games, does he use that time to write articles about the football team? It's a very quiet environment. That's a fair question. There's not a lot you could be writing right now about this basketball team, save for documenting yet another loss.
Another open 3.
Wide open. Do you have, you've got really compelling stories on the site right now. Could you have finished the Turn-N-Time story right there at the game on Saturday?
Of course he could have.
It's a tough situation. We talked about it during the break. It's just hard to talk about. None of us like what's going on now with Florida State basketball, not because of but because of what we think.
You know what's heartbreaking about it is because the football team was so bad for so long, and the basketball team was like a ray of light. Yes. But it was a ray of light in a stormy sky. In that 2020 season, that Willie's time was not great, but that basketball team was so fun to cover. You had something fun to look forward to and something to lift you up.
Was the basketball team a lighthouse?
It was a lighthouse in a storm.
We were on
a beacon.
It was a beacon of light. Choppy waters,
choppy seas,
desperately looking for land, and there is the lighthouse known as Leonard Hamilton's basketball program.
Lighthouse.
We were watching halftime of the Virginia Tech game. We're all keeling over the side of the boat, puking because the rough seas,
violent.
But we could see some light.
It's there.
It's Trent Forrest. Trent Forrest is up there.
Look at that right there. Yeah. Devin Vassell.
Patrick Williams. He's going to be a good player.
He's going to be all right, fellas. And you know what, by the way, I do think that Florida State baseball will act as another beacon of light soon.
Okay.
I'm not telling you they're going to roll out to Omaha in year 1.
Tom did last night on the Monday.
You're not telling me they're not going to roll out there.
I'm not telling you they're not.
Right.
I think they're going to be worlds better.
They should be. That's going to be fun.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Here's something you might know about me. I don't drink coffee. I have never had a cup of coffee in my life. Well, that is until now. So why change now? Well, it's because my dear friend at Grassroots Coffee reached out to me after hearing me say that and insisted that I give his product a try. I've been making a huge mistake. The world of coffee is fascinating. I always thought coffee is coffee, no, it's not. I have tried their coffee and it is fantastic. Now, I've got a fascination with learning more about the best coffee in our area. Grassroots Coffee is locally roasted, locally owned, and locally loved. You can find whole bean Grassroots Coffee on the local aisle at Publix, also in Whole Foods, but the best way to get this black gold is to order it online. They literally grind the fresh roasted beans to your preferred level, bag it, write the date on it by hand so you know the exact day your coffee was roasted. It doesn't get any more fresh than that. Order yours now. Just go to grassrootscoffee.com and choose the coffee you want and how you want it, and join me. Let's step up our coffee game together and also support a great local business.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
The weather is unpredictable and can cause issues around your home. Weston Trawick provides commercial, residential, and industrial electrical wiring services, yearly inspections on fire alarms, portable generator sales, and so much more. With 24/7 emergency service and repair, Weston Trawick will be your calm in the storm. Give them a call at 514-0003. Weston Trawick. Professional electrical services day or night. Visit online at westontrawick.com.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
It's a new year, new you, so give yourself a fresh start with MyBookie. Whether you bet to earn or to make the games more exciting, MyBookie gives you the most for your money with their redesigned deposit bonus. Just use promo code WARCHANT on a deposit of $50 or more. I can see you on the left side of my shoulder. To receive a cash bonus instantly to your MyBookie account. Using this bonus is simple. Bet your deposit about just once, and you're ready to cash out. It's no strings attached with MyBookie. Bet on the NFL, UFC, or play for a share of big cash prizes in the weekly online blackjack tournaments. So many brands to choose from. You need a platform that makes it a simple and easy bet and win with MyBookie. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Man, I thought I was going to bet anything, anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, he could be behind you doing all that.
And he just ran right through it.
Well, but I had the right intonation there.
Nailed it.
It was solid. If Brock Bowers was your kid, writes Greg, would you advise him to sit out 2023 and not risk injury? I can't imagine he can do anything to improve his stock. Is that something we'll see going forward?
What do you think, Corey?
I wouldn't have him sit out. I would have him have a lingering injury that he just can't play through. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want him to just come out and officially
get the word
say
to the scouts of the NFL that it's not a real
injury.
I don't think guys are falling over themselves to draft somebody who fakes an injury for the entire season.
Right. But are they falling all over themselves for a guy that just sits out an entire season?
I don't know the answer to that question, legitimately.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I would tell you that I think the premise of this question is 100% accurate.
What do you think kind of insurance policy a tight end can get? Like, obviously a quarterback.
Whatever, like the top 10, like the number 8 pick in the draft.
So
I think you
get
get
your
something
insurance
like that.
policy and play,
Also,
man.
I have a feeling Brock Bowers enjoys playing football.
Seems
I
like it.
feel like he's a competitor and he likes being on the field scoring
He's
touchdowns.
going to enjoy getting paid a large sum of money for
Well,
playing
he's
football.
going to get paid.
Too.
He's getting paid now. He will get an insurance policy, and unless his leg gets chopped off, he will. I can't think of an injury that he would have. I mean, they drafted the Alabama kid. Jameson Williams.
Yeah, you could shatter your femur or something, maybe.
Hey, you could do that driving down the road.
Well, I'm not saying not to play. I'm just saying there may be something that would affect his draft
I would
status.
to answer the question for real, I would say, look, if you're thinking about not playing your junior season of football at the University of Georgia, you're not my son anymore.
Is there any?
That's what you'd say.
Yeah.
Is there any talk about ever reducing the number from 3 years?
You would think there would be. I mean, Barry Sanders started that, and that was 1989. There hasn't been a lot of that was 33 years ago. They haven't made any adjustments since then. The one guy, the USC receiver, tried it, got eligible because it was Mike Williams, one of the Williams guys, and then they
said no.
They made it a rule that you could leave after a year, and then the NCAA came back and said, no, you can't leave after a year. You still have to stay 3 years.
Bet they wouldn't enforce that now. The
They
whole right to
probably
work
would.
thing has been at the.
Yeah.
So he ended up being ineligible because he declared himself early and signed with an agent when it was legally permissible for him to do it. Anyway. This isn't
Hyperbolic
Trojan
Noel
headlines.
writes, no question for you guys. Just appreciate the excellence in your job and for keeping us informed throughout the dark times. The future is so bright for FSU football. Well, thank you, Hyperbolic Noel.
And that's not hyperbole.
No, that's real life.
It's not. That's right. And
That would be funny if he just asked questions every week with hyperbole.
Yeah. Well, now you've just given him a platform, buddy. There it is. Favorite non-FSU sporting event you've ever attended? That's great. Let's see. I've been to the Stanley Cup Finals. I've been to the World Series.
Oh, wow. The Braves.
I've been to,
The
I
Braves
was going to
winning the
say,
World
you'd say
Series.
the Braves. I've been to the Super Bowl. I've never been to a Final Four. Have you been to a Final Four? We all would have been at the Final Four had we not gotten screwed.
Yeah, I haven't. I was at the famous Bears-Dolphins game down the
In
Orange
the
Bowl
fog?
when the
Oh, no,
when the
one-
Bears
yeah,
were undefeated.
Yeah, that's right. So you were at that game.
Yeah.
What was your favorite?
Selling Cokes.
He was slinging Cokes.
That was a pretty cool
Not
moment.
Coke.
Cokes.
I'm glad you
Unlike a lot of
clarified.
people slinging.
Yeah.
at the Orange Bowl.
My favorite sporting event that is non-FSU that I attended. Oh, God. Oddly, I think that there's two. But the Super Bowl is really high on my list, and I didn't care about either team. It was the Bears-Colts Super Bowl down in Miami where I saw Prince play and all of that. But the reason that was so much fun is I went with one of my best friends, Matt Britton, and then I thought the Super Bowl was going to suck. I thought it was going to be just a corporate nightmare and that it was not going to be any fun at all. And yet they do it so right. At least they did then on that particular Super Bowl. All day long, the things we did.
Who was it? Was that the Colts and the Bears?
Colts and the Bears, yeah. And it was so fun. That the entire 24 hours was a blast.
Well, let's
Super
do it
Bowl's
again.
a lot better, yeah.
If you could go to one major tennis tournament, what would it be?
Wimbledon.
I like the U.S. Open.
US
man.
Open.
I think the U.S. Open would be a lot of fun.
It's a lot better with the interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was a
Wimbledon would be
kid,
awesome.
I would have said the French Open. For some
You
reason,
like
the
the
mystique
clay.
of the clay, it drew me in.
Mm.
There used to be a time where we actually cared about the Davis Cup.
I
could
happened
have
to
been watching the Davis Cup.
I happened to be up at an ungodly hour last night, and I saw Andy Murray win his match at 3 in the morning, whatever.
In the
Who
Australian?
knew Andy Murray?
I
was
didn't know he was
playing
still
tennis?
playing.
He
That's
came
good
back
for him.
He's got a medal.
To answer the question, though, other than the Braves, the best sporting event I ever attended was the Miracle on Ice.
I mean,
you did not attend the Miracle.
Proved
on
that
Ice.
I didn't. You can't.
Were you alive?
Yeah, I was 5. Yeah, proved. I was there. It was Lake Placid.
Hanging out in New York.
Yeah, it was Lake Placid.
It definitely was Lake Placid, and I remember watching it. It was on tape delay.
It was
by the
tape
way.
delay. Yes, yeah, I saw it live
Oh,
because
you
I
were
was
right
there.
there. Yeah. Did you echo
But you
Al
didn't
Michaels' sentiment?
you
By
didn't-
the way, can we talk about that?
You didn't get to hear the call. All right, so here's
No,
my
I
theory.
did. I've
Come
heard it
on, man.
since.
I got two
Al
things.
Michaels
My
is
man's
done.
dead.
I got
It's
Yes, he
over.
might
I
be
got
dead.
2 things to say about that. Number one, I listen to a lot of sports media podcasts, and they even last year they kept gassing up Al Michaels. Oh, he still got his fastball, and I was like, I don't know if he still
He
got his
wasn't terrible
fastball,
last year,
but he wasn't what he was.
but
he
this
lost,
here was.
but
an
the other thing I would say
abomination.
is I'm putting some of that on Tony Dungy.
Well, he was
Tony
awful
Dungy
too.
was just it was like he
But that's who Tony Dungy is. He was never great
But
as a broadcaster.
I think
Al
it brought
Michaels-
Al down. Al can't carry Tony Dungy
Oh,
at this
yeah,
point.
yeah.
So when you got somebody else sleeping next to you, what are you going to
They
do?
almost just tucked each other in. I mean, we're in the midst of the third
One of the
greatest
greatest
comeback
comebacks
of
of all
all
time.
time, and you guys like 2nd and 7.
Yeah.
I'm like, my man. that
He
was
even
kind of
said
an
the last
important
kick.
play.
He's talking about the Chiefs. He goes, and that's probably going to be in Kansas City. Anyway, here we go with the kick.
Yeah,
It's like, what? Anyway,
To
here
win
we go with the
game and win
kick.
yes. Also, he got confused, and I hate it when I hear announcers that have been all-time great announcers, and he is, get confused. I remember I've heard a couple of them get confused, and you're like, oh, he can't follow the bouncing ball.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
good. When you can't follow it's like when you're at a family dinner, like Thanksgiving or something, and Uncle Joe says something asinine, and then
Yeah.
repeats it 2 minutes later, like none of us heard it. You go, oh, Joe. Time is up.
That's my point was, like, last year he still sounded like he had some energy, but he blew a ton of calls last year too.
Well,
yeah, but he sounded good. Now this year he's
completely indifferent about this magnitude.
He was
of this
comatose.
comeback.
He was almost in a coma.
It was scary. Also, so again, the confusion thing. There's a flag. They were offsides. We saw it now.
They're all
watching
celebrating.
The damn game, man. We know what the call was. Stop saying there's a
These
flag.
idiots are all celebrating like they just pulled off this comeback, but there's a flag down that they don't. Oh, it's offsides. Game over. They won.
And everybody who's ever watched football knew exactly what it was because I'm watching it. With baseball around the corner, I'm looking forward to this new FSU season. I just recently got interested in baseball. How about this guy? Well, that's the opposite of every person
life,
in America.
How life works now.
Yeah. Well, okay, good for you. I like this person already. This is KP FSU fan. Got interested in baseball and looking for a professional team to claim. That'd be the Pirates. Any suggestions? Just did. I love the show and everything you guys do. Go Noles. Actually, KP FSU fan, because I like you.
Baltimore Orioles.
Don't root for the Orioles. Do not root for the Pirates.
Baltimore Orioles.
The Braves.
Root for Corey's Atlanta Braves.
There you
They'll
go.
spend some money, although the Phillies are more likable currently. As currently constructed.
There was no team more likable in baseball last year than the Baltimore Orioles.
But they're about to fall off a cliff again.
They have a great owner, really nice guy.
The worst part is that you could be a great Pirates fan because it is the best ballpark in sports.
Yeah.
But
not the best team. They don't have a lot of the best players in their dugout.
Robert Nutting, the owner, needs to die in a fiery car crash today. That would be great.
How would Al Michaels announce that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look,
He may
car's
be
on
dead.
fire.
That car's
Car's
blew
on
up when
fire.
it hit the pole.
Didn't you guys just have a big free agent signing?
We
Yeah,
brought
you got
Kutch back.
McCutcheon
We got
back.
Kutch back.
You get his best years.
Yeah, we got Kutch back.
To answer the question honestly, if you don't want to go with the Braves, I would say the Rays are a fun team to cheer for because they're doing more with less.
Screw the Rays. Orioles.
Here's the problem. If you go Rays, he's right. They're the most well-run organization in baseball.
Yeah.
But the problem is you have to go to that sterile, sorry-ass stadium.
Yeah.
And believe me, that's right there by my hometown, but it's an awful place to go watch a baseball game. What's the timeline on the football-only facility, writes Jeremy?
So they're doing some early work right now. I don't think they're going to start doing the big construction now for a couple months. They're still hoping to have it ready by the start of the 2024 season. I am not as optimistic on that as they are. I think it's probably going to be towards the end of the 2024 season, but there will be construction starting soon. They've already started doing some stuff, but my guess is at the earliest, right before 2024 season, at the latest after the 2024 season.
Did you guys both attend the stupid ceremony there?
I
did not. I was out of town.
Yeah.
I would
I'm
love
sure
to
you
have
were
been there.
heartbroken.
I would have loved to have been there.
Stupid seems excessive and unnecessary.
They're all, those things are, no matter who does them, it's not FSU's
And
fault.
it's not just a football facility. It's like if you're opening a new grocery store or something, all those
the
things.
shovels go in the ground. They
Yeah.
do the stupid picture. It's all,
I said they should get them on bulldozers now. Like we're
Right in on
They've
a
been doing
bulldozer.
shovels since they were opening up prairies in the 1880s. They've been doing the shovel picture.
They did have like a little stationary mini tractor they rented from the Home Depot or something that was sitting
Oh
there.
yeah, just sit
as
on
a
that.
prop,
Just
but
let
they
everybody
didn't-
hop on that.
They weren't.
You know,
using-
speaking of which, you're talking about the old West, the old timey West, and the run to claim land, and then places like Tombstone and Deadwood.
Sure.
Do you know now there's a YouTube site that a linguist has researched patterns of speech from that time and what they would have truly sounded like?
What's
I'd like
going
to
on
hear
with
it.
our show?
It's
Kyra? What's going
fantastic.
on with
I'm more interested in this.
Let me
than
just
just
let me
like-
tell you something. I spent an hour and a half on this yesterday.
Did they not sound like what we
No,
Bonanza?
they don't sound like what we thought they sounded like.
Really?
They sound kind of close, but and I could get into this.
Is
So
there
we're-
some European in there?
No,
That's what
so
I
most
wonder.
of those
Oh,
people,
Ira, what are you doing?
a lot of the people moved from the Northeast, so
Yeah,
they
but
they went out
their
west
families came from
from
overseas.
across the way.
Sweden.
So there is some English there,
That's
like
what I
you're talking about,
wonder, yeah.
like high mind, the Queen's English, But then there's also, well, anyhow,
Did they sound like Al Michaels? Were they? Oh, him doing a duel, like a shootout at the OK Corral.
the old West was boring as hell.
There's gold in them.
Yeah, there's some gold up there if you want. Anyway, there's some gold. Whatever.
Chris writes, is it just me or does Gene Deckerhoff sound like Jim Ross? Have you ever seen them in the same room? Something to ponder, guys. You know, Jim Ross is the wrestling announcer. Yeah.
By the way, was that Gene's last game last night?
I think it was.
Theoretically, I don't know if he's officially said
I didn't know
it, but
he
yeah.
officially announced.
He
that
had
he's
one
gonna-
more year on his contract when he said he was going to do the Bucks and not do FSU. So theoretically, but I don't know if he's officially said it 100%.
And I know, look, Gene, we all lose something as we get older in life, but I can promise you, if Gene is announcing the game-winning field goal of a 27-point comeback, it's
Gene's
going to
excited
sound.
when there's
He's
a-
excited
when the
if it's
other team
blocked.
scores.
Yeah, if they block it, he'd have been excited. But at least he he's excited.
Yeah, the criticism of Gene, if there is one, is never that he's lacking enthusiasm.
Yes,
No.
correct. Correct.
Matt writes, love the show, gentlemen. I asked after the third loss during the season, but it feels like it's time to refresh. What happens first? Baseball makes it to Omaha or football makes it to the college football playoff? Ooh, now it's juicy.
Now there's a chance.
Now there's like we would have just dismissed this as
That's a tough one.
that is tough.
I mean, I just feel like there's such
It's so much easier to get to Omaha.
yeah, because you can be kind of bad for
Have a
most of the
good
year
couple
and then have a
weekends.
good two weekends. You got a hot couple
That
pitchers.
team
But for the
11s
same,
last year.
for the same reason, it's so hard to get to Omaha. Tennessee won like every game they played last year. Then they got beat at home by Notre Dame
by Lincoln
because of a bad
Jarrett.
weekend. Yeah, which was awesome because he did us all great service. That was the least likable team in organized sports history.
He should be
The
time,
Tennessee baseball team.
He should be Time Man of the Year.
Yeah, right on the cover, smiling behind home plate in Tennessee.
Yes,
at that stadium.
Those Tennessee kids
all
crying
the steroid
behind
kids,
them. Yeah,
like weeping. Yeah, that would have been good. It would all the zit-ridden steroid monsters and their coach, who's also an ass.
Yeah, they weren't weeping. They were beating up some
old
90-pound
woman.
weaklings in
Some
the back.
diehard volunteer fan that's gone her whole
This
life.
is all
Thought that was the
legends.
team that was
They
going to
might
go
be
to
great
Omaha.
kids.
No,
They might
they're
be
not. They're
great
not
kids.
great kids.
They're
They're
probably-
all a-holes.
they don't give off that vibe of being great kids.
Yeah, kid gets thrown out in the first inning of the pivotal game 3 because he can't stop telling the ump that he's
dropping
an
an
effing
F-bomb.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. It continues in a moment.
Now,
Roads on Appalachia Parkway, just west of Connor Boulevard, has reopened following an incident that led to the death of a person at 2:35 a.m. yesterday. The sedan was traveling east on Appalachia Parkway in the inside lane. The vehicle collided with a 23-year-old man of Brandon who was in the lane of travel. The man was transported to Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare Hospital where he was pronounced dead. A legally blind man, David Bailey, is working to get a flag football league started that accommodates people with disabilities. He created a similar league in Daytona, and now he wants to do the same in Tallahassee. He hopes by starting this league, it will give people with disabilities a space where they can build friendships and feel comfortable. Also, he wants people involved to feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves. If you'd like to join the league or make a donation to help with the cost of supplies, you can contact David Bailey on Facebook. He is hoping to have the league up and running by February 4th. This is Rachel Lemay with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly cloudy skies this afternoon with a high of 73. Southerly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Lows level off around 59 tonight, overcast. Highs level off around 76 tomorrow. A blend of clouds and sun. Upper 70s Thursday with a chance for scattered storms. Low 70s, partly cloudy Friday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 73.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
This is Tyler from Bear No Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere.
Save big time in the new year and get $1,200 off select new units.
Online at BaranoAC.com.
Keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
Florida license CAC 1816-186. Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Hey, Matt.
Yes, Greg.
You know all the different ways that you can listen to Real Talk 93.3?
There are several.
So we've got realtalk93.com. You can go back and listen to all of our shows in the podcast section.
That's right. You can also listen on our app as well.
Search Real Talk 93.3 and look for the red microphone and download our app. Never go anywhere without us.
And of course, you can always listen right on the radio.
Well, they are listening.
Are they?
If they're hearing this commercial, then they're listening.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Are we on the air?
Yes. What's the matter with you? You don't hear sound?
I didn't have the headset on. I was talking. We were talking about the
whole time. I'm sitting there
language.
like, man, this guy is the pro's pro.
Yeah.
He's going to wait till the last second. Then it was like, no, he's not.
He doesn't even know.
I'm going to answer this question really quickly, and then we're moving on, just because it's an offensive question, Renegade. Jeff, who's your favorite, most respected non-sports talk radio host? You seem like a Bubba the Love Sponge guy. That'd be the opposite of what I am. I hate that guy with the power of 7 sons. He's an embarrassment to the industry.
Did you like Ron and Ron back in the day?
Oh, so
they were funny,
man. They were on 95 YNF when I grew up back then, and that was the Hard Rock station in Tampa. You go back and listen to those bits now.
Oh,
like,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
They're not.
I'm gonna get canceled for saying I thought it was funny. It seemed funny at the time. How about that?
Yeah, no, it was, and comedy does that. I mean, it doesn't usually make it past several decades. Very few things
Sometimes
do, but
not very long at all.
Yeah, but anyhow, no, that is not. These are. We'll do a non-Seminole Headlines pod, guys. That was some of those questions.
That was a 16-year-old Ira that said he liked Ron and Ron back in the day.
Probably,
right.
it's understandable, man.
Yeah, I mean, everybody laughed at Eddie Murphy as well. We
Right,
know the deal. What should I do if my Moultrie Publix doesn't add register sausage soon? Start throwing stuff around the store. Ryan wants to know. That was a question.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're not throwing it at people yet.
Not cans, like soft goods. Like if you throw some
Ahead of
bread
lettuce or something.
Throw bread at somebody?
The bread's not at
Tomatoes?
somebody, just on the floor for them to clean it up.
Yeah, and then
just one loaf. Start small.
One loaf.
Just
see what happens.
Yeah, just like
let them know.
some
well,
bagels
you start
on the
off.
floor.
You start off with the nice casual conversation with the manager about what you want. You would like to see registered sausage in the store. Why are you depriving us of registered sausage?
But you're having the conversation by the bread.
Right.
So as soon as he says something that you don't like, you just grab it, toss it on the ground.
And then when people ask what you're doing, just say, ask him. And then
he
walk
knows.
out.
He knows exactly what's going on.
Now don't spike it. Just drop it.
Yeah.
Just drop it right there. Why don't you pick that up? And just keep there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. He has to. He's a manager.
What's he going to do?
He's going to pick it up.
He could get an employee to do it, but still somebody's picking it up.
I think a woman tried to sneak some of her grocery items into my where the yellow thing that
you had to pay for it?
So get this. Bryce noticed it too. I was buying stuff yesterday for Bryce, right? I don't know, it was like $40 worth of groceries, right?
Protein bars,
whatever
protein
it is. Yeah, we're
shakes.
doing the right thing. I'm get this, and this. And then the young one's like, bring back some ice cream. So I got him some ice cream. So we're sitting there. I thought the lady was a little too close. She was elderly, so I wasn't going to say anything mean, like maybe spatial awareness had left her.
Right.
And so we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden, like the lady that's pulling the stuff across the little beep beep,
starts.
She's like beep beep, and all this tea, like all this boxes of tea that I would never buy. And I was like, whoa, no, the tea's not mine. And she's like, oh, sorry. Well, it was in with yours. I was like, no, I didn't have any tea there. And she looks back at the other lady who looks like she's been caught.
No.
And she goes, is this yours? She goes, yeah. She goes, well, why'd you have it on his side of the yellow divider? And she's like, I didn't. She lied.
You tried to steal her tea.
Now, how old are we talking? Or was like 90? Like she could have been
60s.
Oh, well then, yeah, she's trying to cheat somehow. But then she was going to get it. She was going to pick it up out of your bag.
What did she was going to do?
Yeah.
I'm seeing the tea. Did she think I wasn't going to notice? And was she just going to?
But even still, it would be in your bag with your stuff in it.
It was a weird moment.
I got a quick. I can't get your attention across the window.
I'm trying to read for you.
Can we get some questions asked to Twitter?
I got my public story I want to share.
Can we get to a question? Can we at least do one question in between the public
then
stories?
We'll come back to my story.
Donna, I've been listening to you all since the beginning, and Jeff since he was on AM morning radio. I'm ready for baseball, FSU baseball. Do you think Link will impact baseball like Mike has changed our football program? I do.
I do too.
I do.
I think there's a very good chance that could happen. Yeah. And he's more proven than Norvell was when Norvell got the job here.
And a comment that somebody made to me in the athletic department when Link Jarrett got hired and he and Mike Norvell spent some time talking, somebody I was talking to was watching them speak. And this person made the comment that, man, they are very much alike. Like they're very similar. And very detail oriented
about details too, about giving 3 openings in the dugout instead of 2, so it's easier to run into.
How about that?
When he said that to me in the interview, I was trying to make sure my facial expression didn't register the kind of concern I had.
I feel like you would have been like,
I love it.
I feel like you would have been like, that's great, man. Can you just get him to make contact?
Well, how about
it's great that they have 3 openings? Yeah.
So I've got a full.
How about one opening until they prove they can do it?
So I've got a full cart of groceries, and I'm walking out of Publix, and I see the great Kez McCorvey walking through. Everybody loves Kez.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's in my cart? Because he's going to judge me. And I've got a lot of fruit. I've got some fruit, some vegetables.
Nothing wrong with that.
It was a good, solid cart.
Yeah.
I had some fruit roll-ups in there for my kid.
Fruit roll-ups.
Yeah,
Fruit
processed
roll-ups
nonsense. Yeah.
for my kid,
Mhm.
and Kiss walks up and he goes, "Yeah, I'm not interested in any of that, but what about that?" And he points right to I'm like, "How did you see that?"
Yeah, he didn't care about
He
so did he want
there was-
one, or
there
was he making
there
fun
were
of you?
chicken breasts in there. He's
Yeah.
making fun.
Oh, all right.
I mean, he was trying to act like he wanted one, but I think
He's probably making fun. Oh,
One
I'm
time,
glad that fruit
Eagle-Eye
roll-ups
Kes
are still in
McCorvey.
business. I didn't even know they weren't still in business.
because you're not 5. But one time my cart
There's my
turned the
kid.
corner rapidly at Whole Foods and hit another cart, and it was the great David Hale. And I was appalled because I had 12 bottles of red wine in my cart. And the reason
I don't think Hale was upset with that.
there was
He
a
didn't- he
reason
wasn't
that I
judging.
had those 12 bottles above and beyond me liking red wine. But my cart hit, and I immediately thought, "Oh no!" And then I looked at his cart, and he had 8 bottles of red wine. And it was a wonderful
I
moment.
feel like there should be some etiquette among grown-ups that you don't look in the other
We're not
person's
looking
cart.
at your cart. Yeah.
Right? I'm
Yeah,
not
exactly
judging.
right. Yeah.
Jeff, why do you have 5 boxes of condoms?
With your red wine. Yeah. 5 boxes. They're on sale. What are you going to do?
Comic Noel writes, doesn't the Rashada drama make it borderline impossible for Florida to get kids where NIL is a significant factor? How could a commit believe any UF NIL promise after this?
Rashada drama. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, should be a movie.
Yeah.
It's a fair question, man. They got some crisis
They
control
got
going on.
real
down there.
crisis problems. They got
So he's not enrolled, right? For the people that don't know, he's the kid that
The
was
California
committed to
quarterback.
Miami. He was committed to Miami, then went to Florida like a month
Allegedly, he
before.
had like an $8 or $9 million deal with Miami, then flipped to Florida for apparently a $13 million deal.
And that came out how? The number.
The number? It
Yeah.
was reported by the Orlando Sentinel
Okay.
and some
all
other
right.
media.
So
The
that's-
Athletic.
And so now he's not enrolled because they didn't hold up their end of the bargain in paying him.
Well, I think maybe they wanted to renegotiate.
Yeah.
Maybe they realized.
I think they
that-
looked around and said, "We're bidding against ourselves. What
Yeah.
the hell are we doing? Nobody was going
For
to
a
give this
high
kid
school
$2
quarterback.
million, let alone 9. This
Like
is
you could have
nuts.
gotten Drake May for half that.
Yeah, that didn't make a lot of sense. Which young player will have a breakout year, and what do you see that year looking like? That's Noel Blood.
I'm going to steal your answer from earlier, Rodney Hill.
That's a good
What does that
answer.
look like? 500 yards? Does he have
600
the
yards?
Trayshawn like year that Trayshawn had this year, like 600? And
Here's the thing about Rodney Hill, man. I think he can get to 500, 600 yards without as many carries because I think he'll break a couple.
yeah. How many carries do you expect him to get a game? 6?
I'd say 6 to 8.
All right. So you're looking at whatever that is, 72 to 80. If he's averaging 6 yards a carry like Trayshawn did, you're up at 500 right there. Yeah, I can see that too. Plus, I think he's somebody you can use out of the backfield a little bit.
Rapid fire. Here we go. You boys answer these quickly. Kyle writes, hello, gentlemen. With everyone being so excited for valid reasons about the 2023 season, on a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous are you for 2024 being a major letdown with so much talent leaving? Love you guys.
On a scale of 1 to 10, a 4.
I don't think about it. Robert writes, I know
Smart.
it's still early, but any word on how the baseball team will look this year?
Jessica, I'm going to Omaha. Jeff and Tom, I'm going to Omaha.
I think they're going to be good, guys. I think they're going to be good.
It's going to be a lot. I'll tell you this. I can guarantee this. It's
Clean,
going to be a lot
crispy,
more fun to watch.
sound
than
brand
it's
of
been.
baseball.
Yeah, I like where they're going.
Agreed. Christopher, I already read that. Whoa, no. This is the next one. What are the chances this will be Ham's last year, or does he get one more year? Well, they're not going to fire Ham, but I would say this. If things can work out, I'd like him to have another season.
Yes.
I would not like this to be his last season. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, they're a chance they're going to go 9-23. That's awful. I would hate Leonard Hamilton's tenure to come to an end like that.
Sean writes, hey guys, this is more of a request than a question. Now that we have turned the page on FSU football, would it be possible for you to highlight a different baseball position group every week leading up to opening day? I'm pumped, as I'm sure you all are, for the upcoming season. By the way, a lot of baseball tonight here, guys. People are pumped.
And we love you, Sean, and we know how much you love FSU baseball, but I don't think.
But no. But we once they get closer to Omaha, we'll start doing it for sure.
Sean, these gentlemen are not going to write a story about each of the positions on the baseball field heading into the season, but I will have another interview with Link here soon. He said as much, and I'll try to maybe
we'll
few
do
things
some stories. I thought he meant
on this show.
Spend time talking positions on this show.
Sean, I'll try to help you out a little bit. Nancy writes, don't you think it's time to update the race between Gabrielle Reese, Burt Reynolds, and Charlie Ward? Today's students probably have no clue who those people are. Guys, who do you think might be a current well-known replacement?
This is Corey Clark's department.
That's a great question. That's a great question. That's like item number Z on the list of what they do on that video board scoreboard.
This weekend, I showed Bryce Smoking the Bandit.
Oh,
It holds up well.
Yeah, man. What in the world?
So I told him going in, you're going to be
Was
shocked.
could you not find Birth of a Nation?
It's like it is something. That's well played. But I will tell you that I always think Sally Field is beautiful.
Oh my God!
Here we go again with you
That
too.
is all time.
Oh my God!
Forget about it.
When she puts her feet up on the
yes,
dashboard.
I'm with you, buddy. And I forgot about the gratuitous ass shot.
Oh yeah.
It's like a good 40 seconds.
And it actually is it's
really objectifying women, which the 51-year-old Irish show.
But Jackie Gleason is crazy good at it, and his son is really funny. It's a really funny movie that still kind of holds up 45 years later. The answer though is, who would you have in the Buster? Buster Posey can be one.
So
right?
the
Jalen?
recent phenoms. So Jameis would be one.
Jameis or Jalen, Dalvin. I think Dalvin's
Buster would be.
Buster would have to be one.
Yeah.
Trent Forrest.
Dalvin should just win every time. Like he just leaves everybody in the dust.
Leaves everybody in the dust. Could Trent Forrest do it? No, he wasn't famous enough. I don't think.
Jessica Warren. If
we're going to update the woman, that's not bad at all. It's quality. You may have the current superstar. If she plays 2 more years for FSU,
yeah, that'd be cool.
Dana
Can they get her?
Yeah,
Dana too. Yeah, they got some possibilities, man.
Michael writes, after the lady last week asked a question about if you all can be petty, you just slapped Bob for finally asking a good question. But that's
that was Jeff, not y'all.
Yeah. With that said, trivial comment. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Oh, that was fun. Yeah. And Bob didn't ask anything this week. I think he may be upset with me. I'm not entirely certain.
Have we gotten any Twitter questions?
This is, buddy.
I like that you're on over his shoulder so you can really tell.
I mean, I just watched it quietly just to see.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Sir, go back
through. Done my research.
Look at all of these that I've asked. Here, Boner asked a question again.
Sweet.
Perhaps break down we went to Twitter.
Yeah.
Boner wants to know, perhaps break down the roster by positions and look at where we could be better. Linebacker is where we could be better. We could be better at corner. Offensive line could be better.
Yeah, there's a play.
Offensive line's going to be better.
You
That's
can
my
kind of
bold
be
prediction.
better everywhere. There's probably, but overall depth-wise, you're pretty good. I just think safety and linebacker are my 2 biggest concerns because of the depth.
Iris smells good,
depth.
Tom, to answer your question. He smells fine. He took a shower before he came in.
I could have given you a little massage during that last segment.
No. David, maybe you talk about something but football while basketball program burnt. Yeah, no, it's tough stuff with the basketball program.
Well, that Twitter segment was great. Thanks for going back to Twitter. That was ridiculous. Can I tell a public story? Do I have time? Hey, I got a life hack. You know how I told you that I sometimes go into family restrooms when I have to do a BM? Because when I went in public setting, because I don't want to do it in a men's bathroom.
I was very excited.
Is the mic on? Is the mic on?
I was very excited when he told us this the first time.
So I got another life hack now. I just did it in this studio. For some reason, the hallway has 1 men's room and 2 women's rooms.
I use the women's.
I just use the women's.
Oh, that's not a life hack. Everybody does that. You should.
Okay, well,
I've never done that once in my life.
Why would there be 2 women's and a man? Why wouldn't it be women's, men, and then
agree.
unisex?
It's very frustrating. I don't understand, but I'm just telling you now. I always use that woman's bathroom.
I just used it. They're nicer anyway, man. Yeah. That is actually a life hack. Most women's restrooms are a lot nicer than men's.
They are.
Ladies, if you go into a restroom and the seat is up, you know it was not me. It might have been one of these guys.
Might have been Jeff. Yeah, that's the way it works.
No, I pee sitting down.
Good. Yeah. Good work, Director Matthew. That's music.
No news there.
Silence their mics. Turn their mics off. We're out of here.